Welcome to welcome.
Hi, welcome.
Hello and welcome
We're
to
wordsmiths here.
Alchemy Theater's New Works Festival. Let me introduce Mike Murdock, the artistic director of Alchemy.
So welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Murdock. I'm the artistic director of Alchemy Theater. Thank you all so much for being here for our first event of 2024, the New Works Festival, which we are very proud of. We do every year. We think it's very important, especially myself and Stephen as writers ourselves. We think that there's no better way than to put your work in front of people and get live feedback about what they liked, what they didn't like. These reads are very important, especially for first-time writers. We're very lucky, especially tonight, because tonight is our high school night. Stephen, in particular, went to 4 different schools throughout the tri-state area. Huntington High, Covenant, Spring Valley, and Chesapeake. We worked with these writers and have been doing so. We've expanded the schools this year. We had been only going to a couple. We keep getting bigger and bigger, which is great. There are a lot of these very young writers, and this is a perfect time for them to see their work performed by people that, I'll put in quotes, know what they're doing. We think it is invaluable to the creative process, and we thank you all for participating and being here to read it, receive it, to write for us, and to be the readers for all of this stuff. Our next show is coming up. In case you don't see, there's some posters out here. We're doing You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. That is coming up in mid-February, and we have a whole season of stuff after that. Join us for that. We are still selling season tickets for that. If you're already a season ticket holder, then you got in today for free. If you are not a season subscriber yet, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown is the last time you'll be able to do that. So you can buy season tickets all the way up to You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. They will include your ticket to You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And then you can see everything else for the rest of the year. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for keeping us here in this building and keeping everything we're doing going.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
That's about it. If you need concessions, they're across the hall. If you need merch, it's also across the hall. If you need bathrooms, they're all the way down the hall. Follow the Christmas lights down there. And
if the roof caves in,
if the roof caves in, don't stand in the cave-in.
Yeah. There's an exit there, and there's one back there behind the curtains if you need it for any emergency reason.
If there is a fire, don't stand in the fire.
Rules to live by. Yes, we're very excited that you guys are here. We're glad that you're here to hear your students. We're glad that you're here to hear your own work. We've got a lot going on tonight, and we're going to kick it off with a writer from Green Bank, West Virginia, Ned Doherty. He is a friend of ours, Eric Fruitshuis, who will be featured on Sunday, and we're going to read his piece first. And the way that tonight's flow will go is we will read a couple pieces. We'll talk about a couple pieces. We'll read a couple pieces. I'm going to leave the lights on in case you got to take copious notes, but mostly so I don't have to keep going up to the board to run the lights, because I can control the sound from my phone, but I can't control the lights from my phone yet. So we're going to start with Up Bald Knob, and we're going to have our first 3 performers to come on to the stage.
Okay.
You're going to see these helpful placards in front of each of the readers and the characters that they're playing, because you won't have costumes and things like that this evening. And I'll switch those out as we go, and I'll introduce all the actors towards the end of the evening. Up Bald Knob.
Synopsis. 2 woodhack lumberjacks high atop the logging town of Cass, West Virginia in 1907 talk about the value of a dream for 2 blue-collar men from different generations. Characters. Herschel, grizzled logger, hands losing a fight with arthritis, coming up on life's slowdown. Young Tim, black-eyed logger, hands still full of fight, coming up on his big break. The World. A logging camp near the summit of Bald Knob above Cass, West Virginia, 1907. There are no tools and no trees around the players. They work in a dreamscape. The men wear well-worn button-down shirts, jeans and boots, suspenders if possible. 2 men swing axes against a mighty red spruce. They work in rhythm, taking turns landing blows. Young Tim swings harder than Herschel.
Hup, 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 hup,
Huh. Huh.
Herschel stops.
Wait. Why are you swinging so hard?
Young Tim near falls over trying to stop his swing.
Well, why'd you stop swinging?
Because you're swinging like this tree wronged you.
Maybe it did.
This tree gave you that shiner, did it?
I'm treating it like it did, yes.
We can't have this tree falling awkward.
Well, I don't want it standing any longer.
Herschel spits. Young Tim spits bigger than Herschel. Herschel calls up an amazing spit.
Beat that.
Young Tim calls up an even more amazing spit.
Okay, well done.
The swinging starts up again.
Huh.
Huh!
Huh.
Huh!
Herschel, the old man, tries to keep up, straining.
Huh.
Ho!
Yep.
Ho!
Yep.
Ho!
Yep.
They both scramble back and look up. They make the crashing sounds of falling timber, like moans at first, then cracks, bangs, crashes. A beat to enjoy the majesty of their work, Herschel tries to work the blood back into his fingers. Young Tim winces as he wipes his bruised face.
How's the other guy look?
Worse than that stump, I assure you.
I was at the brawl. I saw the other guy, stupid.
Well, then you know how he looks, don't you? Asking stupid questions gets stupid answers.
What's your record by now?
Well, let's see. I'm the best fighter in camp up Bald Knob here, so I'm the toughest woodhick, and I'm the surefire toughest fighter in East Cass every weekend. If that's so, stands to reason you might be in the presence of the best fighter in the whole Greenbrier River Valley.
I said I saw your last brawl.
You can bet your company paper that if I lose on a Saturday night, the night match was fixed.
Then I'd be wise to keep my company paper in my pocket.
And if you saw the brawl as you said you did, then you saw me get tripped 3 times.
I did see you in the dirt 3 times, yeah.
There you go. Now you know why I was in the dirt.
They'll never let a woodhick beat one of the fighters they ship up and on the train for Saturday night entertainment. You said yourself it's rigged.
Well, just think of what'll happen to my life if I beat one. The President of the United States is a brawler.
Herschel laughs so hard it nearly takes his breath.
Young Tim, the woodhick, comparing himself to the President of the United States.
Teddy Roosevelt ain't no different than me.
He was on San Juan Hill in Cuba. You're knocking down trees in West Virginia.
If a brown bear came out of the woods right now, I'd knock him clear out just like a president would.
Oh, the way tall tales worm inside your generation's head, I'll never understand it.
How your head turned to worms while you remain alive, that's a thing I'll never understand.
I've been sleeping up here on a bed of spruce boughs since before your mama was changing your diaper.
Well, that's the difference between us. I don't want to sleep on a bed of felled trees all my life.
No one sets out thinking they will.
I'm going to fight my way off this mountain, because when I win fights, they pay me in American money, not that company scratch we get for knocking trees down. That paper's good for nothing nowhere but the store.
How much you get for fighting on Saturdays?
Some nights, as much as $2.
Ooh, shoot. That's not bad money.
Yeah, that kind of money might even convince an old timer like you to start fighting.
How much you got saved by now?
Saved?
You've been fighting this whole season. You must clear $10 by now.
I don't save my money. I invest it in a girl.
Shoot.
You think I'm dumb enough to put my money in a bank? At least this way, I'm securing a return.
You're making her rich.
I hope I am. I promised I'd buy her way out from that madam's bed of thorns she's in with enough to spare for 2 train tickets. And once I've invested enough, we're both out of here.
Son, you're thinking with the wrong muscle.
If you sing like a train whistle one more time, I'm going to punch the wrinkles off your face. She loves me.
Sure, as I'm standing, she loves your money. Best case scenario, she might love your dreaming head too. But if she buys her way out, I wouldn't bet she'll spare you with a train ticket.
She said she was. We made a pact.
Oh, I made a pact with a woman once.
Herschel spits.
Spitting like you do, no surprise she left you all alone.
It wasn't for the spitting.
When you stop dreaming, Herschel? When you stop thinking anything is possible. Now I'm serious about you singing like a train, and I'm serious about that question. I don't see the point of living if a man's got nothing to dream for.
Shows Tim his hands.
Swinging an axe has a way of turning all your dreams to blisters.
Not these hands.
Give it time.
A beat for them to behold their hands.
You ever work for real money? Not that company scratch, I mean the green good stuff.
Of course I have.
I just can't take it holding cash in my pocket. When I spend that stuff, I feel like the king of Appalachia.
If spending money turns man into a king, we wouldn't be up here paupering for the company.
What was your wildest dream growing up, Herschel? Mine, I'm going to be the next Teddy Roosevelt. Got my campaign speech and everything.
Herschel keels over in laughter.
You're going to die up here laughing like that if you're not careful.
Then stop telling such a good joke, Tim.
Give the speech a listen. It starts. Ladies and gentlemen of these American states.
This is the first time I'm ever going to say this. But break's over. Let's get back to chopping.
Herschel sizes up the next spruce, starts swinging.
I know it looks like I came for nothing, but it's not true.
Huh.
I was raised on hard work.
Huh.
I was raised in hard weather.
Huh.
I learned the lessons of life working alongside hardened men.
Huh.
And it's time we vote for presidents who know a day's hard work.
Huh.
Because hard-working Americans deserve a leader who understands them.
Huh.
If your vote's for a man who ain't got calloused hands,
Herschel stops swinging.
you're wasting that vote. And the future of this great land depends on not a one of us wasting our vote. When I was a young man, barely old enough to cast my first ballot, I worked a timber camp in Bald Knob in West Virginia. I'd sit by the campfire at night, listening to stories of the old timers. Tall tales that would split your sides, murder ballads that could haunt your peaceful dreaming. We'd wake up with sunrise, running on biscuits and coffee sludge, knowing the work we did fit in somewhere. Or maybe a fella's house down the hill, school desks for the city kids down the river, the spruce planks in your local opera house. The work we did meant something, and that meant we did it well. Underpaid, underslept, underappreciated, just like you all. And that meant we did it well. Gathering here, wondering who you should vote for. It's not up to me, but I think you should vote for a man who knows how to contribute something for someone they'll never meet. Helping our fellow Americans way downriver muster whatever happiness they can dream of.
A beat.
That's your speech?
Yeah, you're the first person I told it to. Would you vote for me?
Herschel looks at the horizon.
When I was growing up, those fast years, I did have dreams. And every job I took taught me that dreamers don't get very far in life. Every day wanting so hard something you might never get, well, that'll mangle a man faster than a bandsaw. So, eventually I understood the game, set dreaming aside, and decided I wanted to be somewhere that planted the awe of creation in me every day. And boy, these mountains.
Young Tim looks out.
If a man's meant to work all his days away, might as well have something to look at that'll ease his soul. If the work will break the body, I won't let it break my spirit. I don't have a dream for myself any longer. But I sure appreciate a fella who articulates what it felt like to have one.
A beat for him to stretch his hands again.
Break's over.
Wait, all that talk of dreams and mountains, do I have your vote or not?
Herschel spits in his hand, offers it to young Tim. Tim spits in his hand. They shake.
I reckon you got a lot of brawls to win before you get to take on a Roosevelt. Shoot.
Herschel gets ready to swing.
And I'd kick old Teddy's ass.
Huh.
Ho!
Huh.
Ho!
Huh.
End of play.
That was Up Bold Knob by Ned Daughtry. Up next we have Are You That Person by me. The cast wants to come over.
That's you. Really let him have it.
When we go out each year, I give the kids, the students, a prompt on what they need to include in their piece. They can use it any way they like, and part of the exercise is I make myself do it before I ask them to do it. Because I figure if I'm not willing to do it, I shouldn't ask other people to do it. And I've been raised that way. The other thing we ask is for people to write things that they know about. So logging camp for a guy that's out near Green Bay probably makes some sense. The setting of this next play is a little bit different. And the prompt that I gave everyone that they had to write with this year is, I know you're busy. So without further ado, are you that person? By me.
Are You That Person? A 10-minute play by Stephen Vance. Cast of characters: Maddie, a girl; Sam, a guy; Ethel, a customer, a little older, probably from an Orthodox background, although she may be Jewish and most likely an oracle of some sort. The Voice, a store announcement intercom system, maybe. Setting: aisle 2 of a wholesale club. Production notes: Ethel and the Voice can double, but are not the same character. Underscoring with typical store music can make the Voice's interruptions more stark, especially when the music shifts seemingly at the Voice's behest. Acknowledgements: this story was conceived in part by Olivia Piles. Scene 1. Lights up as Maddie stands at a typical display for Convert Your Home to Solar Power and Save Thousands kiosk between a tower of multi-pack toilet paper and gifts and decorations for a holiday at least 3 months away. The store is not busy. Sam enters pushing a cart with a 50-pound sack of candy, an all-white ficus, and a mini fridge. Strangers in the Night is playing on the overhead speakers.
Hi, I know you're busy, but I'm excited about this great offer to interested residents of this state. You could be eligible for up to $1,000 in utility credits over the next year and be well on your way to energy independence. Are you that person?
Sam, peering around his ficus to politely refuse.
No, I'm sorry. I live across the river.
Realizing he knows the person he's talking to.
Oh, hey, Maddie.
The branches fall back into place, obscuring Maddie's view of him.
Yes.
Sam, parking his cart out of the way so she can see and they can speak as he turns.
It's,
Oh, Sam! I'm so sorry. I just couldn't see you behind this giant white tree. How are you?
She reaches for a familiar hug. He places the case of frosted honey buns he is holding on his cart.
I'm great. It's great to see you. How are you?
I'm great.
She gestures around.
I'm working here, but I'm good. This is just a part-time thing I'm doing for my dad's business until I take and hopefully pass the bar next month.
That's exciting. I didn't even know you were back in town. How is everybody?
Parents are wonderful. They just got back from a European river cruise. 15 countries in 21 days.
It's a charmed life they lead. I'm jealous. And your sister and everybody are good?
Oh, yes. She just had her second baby, a little girl.
She pulls out her phone and beams.
Her name is Gracie.
Oh, my, she is beautiful. She will make the perfect spoiled princess, in no little part to you, I'm sure.
I may or may not have already bought her first tiara.
Beaming and pocketing her phone.
And her big brother is loving it, yes?
Well, not at first, but now Danny basically serves as her 4-year-old guardian angel. It's really sweet. And how are you and all of yours?
Everybody's great. We had dinner at Dad's last night. We still see each other at least once every couple of weeks, which is remarkable with how hectic everything is. My sister's nonprofit was just awarded a huge private grant. She's stoked.
Oh, that's exciting. She'll finally be able to complete phase 2 then, right?
That's the goal. I forgot you did a summer there during undergrad.
Yeah, it was wonderful. The work she's doing is really important. Hey, congratulate her for me, will you? I know it's going to be a lot of work, but so rewarding.
I will. That will mean a lot to her.
And you? Are you ready for the wedding? Getting nervous? When is the big day?
Chimes announce the voice.
We need a cleanup in aisle 2. Repeat. We need a cleanup in aisle 2.
Music resumes, this time playing I Say a Little Prayer for You.
Oh, you didn't hear? That kind of went sideways.
Sam, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Are you okay?
Yes. No. Sorry, it's okay. I'm fine. It's just weird explaining what happened.
You don't have to.
No, I don't mind. Did you ever see Love Actually?
Sure, of course. Who hasn't?
You might be surprised. Well, you know that scene where the best friend stands outside with the poster boards and declares his love?
Sam, no.
Yep. That. That happened.
Brian? Really? He had the guts to do that? And it worked?
Yep. She said it was carol singers at the door and everything.
Sam, I don't know what to say. That's absurd.
Well, it just helps that you've seen the movie. It was super strange explaining it to my mom and my aunt and my barber, who only knew it was that Christmas movie with Elizabeth Bennet and that guy from Taken.
Maddie doing her best Liam Neeson.
What I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. But you are okay?
No, I really am. Better, actually. Much better. It's so good to see you.
Same. You've made my day already. This may seem hard to believe, but not a lot of people respond positively to being accosted while they search for giant cases of boiled peanuts and latex gloves, or whatever it is people need to buy in bulk packaging.
That is hard to believe. Don't people realize what a service you and Hayes Solutions are doing for them?
It's a shame, really. I'm quite spectacular. They're lost.
Noticing his cart finally.
What wholesale shopping extravaganza brings you in today? Something for work? You are still employed, aren't you?
Actually,
Seriously?
no. I'm just messing with you. Work is good. I just took over a new division, but it's not for that. This is for my niece's after-school program. I was running over here anyway, so I said I'd pick up a few things. She's playing the second kumquat in her kindergarten production of Produce of the World.
Kumquat. Like the little orange things?
That's the ones.
How adorable.
So adorable. She's really excited. There's a song and dance and everything. I've definitely seen her rehearse it more than a few times. All she needs is an audience. I'd demonstrate, but I'm sure most of the cuteness factor would be lost with me.
Most, maybe, but not all.
Ethel enters with an empty cart, reading from a shopping list.
Excuse me. Can you tell me where to find the pickled eggs in the 5-gallon tub and the beef jerky assortment?
Sam grins and turns to Matt.
Of course. Do you see the giant inflatable leprechaun next to the 85-inch TV playing the commercial for Applebee's?
Oh, yes.
Go right past that and it will be on your left.
Enjoying the moment with Sam. Ethel looking up and seeing them enjoying the moment.
God bless you. You are a beautiful couple. May God bless you and give you many beautiful children.
She continues as she walks away.
Such a beautiful young couple. God bless them. God bless them.
Sam and Maddie react inwardly, then towards each other. Then, a beat later,
I should probably let you get back to work. It was really great to see you.
It was great to see you too. We should do this more often.
Run into each other at the store?
Maddie punching his arm and laughing.
No, silly, you know what I mean. Hang out and catch up.
I think that would be lovely. You're still into good food and bad movies, right?
I do love good food, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Joe versus the Volcano is a masterclass of what cinema should be. I will die on that hill. Besides, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks are national treasures.
I'm not arguing with you, Harry. Harry, I'm not arguing with you.
You get me, Sam Reynolds. You get me.
I think I do, Maddie Hayes. I think I do.
Chimes announce the voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and lovers, have we got a deal for you just in time for movie night? For a limited time, all popcorn and popcorn-related service items are 50% off. That's right, half off. Claim yours on the pallet next to the registers. Act now before time runs out.
Music resumes, now playing close to you.
Sam?
Maddie?
It's silly. Never mind.
Now I'm intrigued. You know I can't resist silly.
Fine. Would it be okay if I went to your niece's play with you? You are going, right?
Of course I'm going. How often do you get to see the most perfect niece in the world? Okay. How often do you get to see one of the two most perfect nieces in the world be in a play? It's not like there's a place around here that puts on a show nearly every month with something for all ages. Yes, I'd be delighted for you to go with me. In fact, I'd be honored your esquireness.
I've not earned that title yet. I'm just JD right now, but soon. Fingers crossed.
Well then, Juris Doctor, almost Esquire, I'd be delighted and honored to be accompanied by you. And when you pass the bar next month, I'll owe you a fancy dinner and any movie you choose.
I'll hold you to that. Thank you, Sam.
You are most welcome, Maddie.
Chimes announce the voice.
The store will be closing in 5 minutes. Please say your goodbyes, exchange phone numbers, and check out so we can all go home.
Music changes to closing time.
I better go or I will have a lot of disappointed 5-year-olds to deal with.
One exceptionally more perfect than the rest.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Putting on his best announcer voice.
In the program, she's listed as kumquat number 2, but in our hearts, she's number 1.
Do you still have the same number?
Same since 10th grade. You?
Yeah. Can I text you later?
That would be nice. I'll look forward to it. Good night, Maddie.
Good night, Sam.
Sam looks back as he pushes his cart away.
Which way was the popcorn sale?
Maddie points in the correct direction and begins to pack up her display with a smile on her face. Sam waves. The music changes to For Once in My Life. Blackout into play.
You guys can stay there for the talk back part. Because you're
Is that mandatory?
yes. And then
You've been trapped.
Brian and Dr. Green, come on back.
Hide behind this.
Bring your chair. Bring your chair.
Okay.
Oh, okay, they're coming.
I'll let you
Very
kind of
like
run.
you this time.
Mike Murdock, I'll let you run this portion.
Hi, everybody. Mike Murdock, artistic director of Alchemy. One of the best parts about Newark is the talkback session, I think, and we try to have these breakout discussions after every couple of pieces to give the writers some feedback about what you liked as the audience, what you didn't like, what made sense, what didn't make sense, what worked, what didn't work. Get feedback from the actors that were in the piece as well, how they felt about the language and the play itself, and so that the writer can go back and make changes if they wish, or and make the pieces better. So that's what this is all about, and we'll do this after every several sections as you see in the program. So starting now, let's talk about the Bald Knob play to start with Brian Cook and Todd Green, the guys cutting down trees. What did we think about that? Anybody have anything they liked or that stuck out that they hated, other than the actors themselves, or the actors themselves? However you want to do it. Sir, Dr. Walker.
I thought the dialogue showed us an insight into the personalities, which I think is really nice. Sometimes we just rely on the stage director to say what they're thinking, but this author, playwright, put into their dialogue how their character really was. That was very nice.
Good, absolutely.
It was such a lovely little slice of their lives, but you very much got to know the difference between the two men, and that maybe Herschel used to be like Tim when he was much younger, but wisdom comes with arthritis. I liked it a lot.
Writing 10-minute plays is very difficult. To write, as we tell the kids, writing you always want to write a beginning, middle, and end. And doing that in 10 pages, essentially, about a minute a page, is tough to do. And to be able to tell a story in that amount of time that sort of makes sense and has characters that you care about or learn things about in that amount of time, it takes some very real work. Yeah.
I kept wanting the tagline somewhere to be based on a true story, because I really did. Because, and I've read this a couple times where I've read all the pieces, but it felt very realistic and very lifelike, like you knew both of those guys. And that's the other thing we talked about, is being truthful. And those are very truthful characters, I think.
Yeah.
I appreciated the historical accuracy that was very cleverly fitted in Teddy Roosevelt references and the company's script. They had paid in and kept them under the thumb of the company. So that was a very clever way to bring that in.
Absolutely.
In the midst of the story.
Anybody else? Yep.
I like that you could hear what they were feeling just through like the humps. It's the smallest little thing, but you could just tell.
And did you guys pick that up pretty easy? Like, you didn't have any difficulty finding?
No.
Looking at it, not reading it out loud is weird on the page. Like, there's a page of just humps.
And it goes hump, and Herschel goes hip, and then hip.
Very specific differences
Yes.
in
It really was.
the grunting.
And speaking as an older person, yes, I can appreciate Herschel's viewpoint. When you're young, you have dreams, and which are great, and I think that's wonderful. But as you get older, those dreams kind of don't always work out the way you think they're going to. And I think part of wisdom is accepting what those dreams may not be, and not looking back in the past.
How many people are voting for Tim? Anybody?
Couple Tims.
2024, Tim all the way.
Was the tagline "Man Without Callous"?
How did you feel, Brian, about this boxer / tree cutter / wannabe politician?
I identified with him, I think, yeah. I don't know, it's an interesting, it's way before my time, obviously, but I think the overall idealism and all that is still true, for young people. You want to make a difference, and I think that it actually kind of mirrors, I don't know, kind of modern times. People want to make a difference one way or another.
Well, in the casting, I was specific when I chose Brian to read this piece, because the casting can be very silly. If you put a little wiry guy up that you're like, that guy's never won a fight in his life, then it undermines, I think, what the author was trying to accomplish. And so I think the author let us know that in his writing, that was what he was shooting for. And we've told the students 100 times, if you want something a certain way, you have to tell them, or the director will do whatever they want. So, because you could turn it into a joke instead of something where you can connect to it.
I will say, I enjoy the juxtaposition of, especially in our generation, I gotta get out of here, like, I can't stay in West Virginia, and then the urgency that Todd, I think you expressed really well, to protect the hills, and to stay here and to protect that dream that we have as West Virginians. I think it's very unique pride that we have in our state, and I think my generation has sort of embraced that a little bit earlier, I think, and I think a lot of us have left and come back, and so I really thought that was really beautiful, the way they did that, and you all portrayed it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else before we move on to Stephen's piece? Sir?
I like the dichotomy of Tim's character where he's like this fighter trying to be this big brawler guy, and then he's this orator all of a sudden. And it kind of takes you by surprise that like this guy has a voice that's, you know, very important and very crucial to him and to people like him that can also speak towards an older generation such as Herschel. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's nice to see that that dichotomy is a good word. That they both had something to learn from each other. That each generation has something to listen to from the other and learn from. It's pretty important all the time, I think. All right, let's talk about are you that person? What did we like? What do we hate? Steven's here, actually, so you can really talk about the things that were garbage. How did we like do we think the relationship worked between this sort of meet cute happening in the big box store?
Yeah.
I thought it was very good and very funny, and I thought like the setting, added to the humor so much and was used in really clever ways to add humor. I was distracted when Maddie called him by his full name, Sam Reynolds, because of course that's Owen's last name, and then I thought, I wonder why Stephen has them saying their full names right there. I wonder if there's a reason he wrote it like that.
There are a couple of reasons. There is a 8-year-old kid that is friends with our family, and we had actually sat down to write the first couple pages of this, and she was determined that the last name of Sam had to be Reynolds. Curious because her Sunday school teacher is Fiona Reynolds. So connection for some theater people. Yeah, and so why they use the name? I think to me it's sweet when people use people's full names in that very situation. It wasn't more intentional than that.
Just to show like cute familiarity.
And if anybody cares, Maddie Hayes is a reference to The West Wing.
I'm a sucker for references in general, and of course, literally my favorite movie of all time is Joe versus the Volcano. So I will back this play to the very end.
We did literally when we were reading through it at rehearsal. We got to that. I was like, oh, I love that movie.
That's great.
If you haven't seen it in a while, go back and revisit it because it's incredible. Great soundtrack too. So I saw somebody's hand up.
Kind of felt it, with the reference to Love Actually, it almost felt like you could slot this in there as another one of those slices of Love of the Big Bucks.
I appreciate that. I'll have another one that's read later this evening. I've written 4 or 5 plays over the last couple of years, and they're all standalones like this, but thematically they feel the same to me, and that's kind of where I'm landing right now, is to parse them together as maybe a one act with multiple of the same sort of theme, and it's sugar coated, whatever. There's nothing serious that happens in the
When the Love Actually thing was referenced, I was wondering which part of Love Actually, because you could go very different ways with it.
It's true. Very
Love
true.
Actually is a very big movie in our family, so when we heard Love Actually, that scene, we were like, oh no.
I was like, oh no, please don't tell me
One.
Yeah, that could go real weird.
Yeah. Martin Freeman's, yeah.
No.
The one they don't show on TV. When they show
Yeah.
I felt like it was, I don't know if it was explicit or not, because I don't know if I heard it in the stage directions, but it's kind of a period piece, because in like Walmart now and things like that, you don't get there used to be like people that would come over the intercom live and read in very charismatic voices, like brief ads about what sales are going on and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of an older piece. I don't know if kids would get, the younger people would
Yeah,
get
because
that.
everything's pre-recorded now.
Right,
It's a throwback to Kmart days.
Yeah, it really is. I like that. I really like that detail.
I think the comedic aspect comes across pretty well just reading the directions and reading the names of the songs, but I think if it was actually staged, it would be even better. I think because like when the song comes on, I think that would give like
Recognizing
we
the-
could
yeah,
react and be like,
yeah.
you know, like being like, what?
And I'm willing to take feedback on songs because those are all placeholders. I was like, I'll come back to that later.
I think they all work pretty well.
Can't afford any of them, but they will.
Yeah, right. You play 15 seconds.
Right.
How about you just like the announcer, like, kind of being a wingman?
The reason I wrote the Ethel character in, I know we're not talking about that, but the reason I wrote the Ethel, that actually happened to me and a friend of mine once. That actual thing happened. We're in New York City coming out of a cell phone store, and that very thing happened. And I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, let's go to breakfast.
God bless you.
I absolutely loved the whole thing about the ridiculousness of like the inflatable leprechaun and
Yes.
just all of that stuff, because while it is just so much of something, and it's almost like it's bigger than the characters themselves, but at the same time we have all seen it, and it is rooted in something where we see the ridiculousness and we kind of connect with the characters that way as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. When we're teaching these workshops and stuff, we try to tell people, especially in comedy, specificity matters. Like the more specific you can be about a thing, the funnier it can be, and the more people know what you're talking about. And I think
Applebee's commercials are always funny to me.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and so people have been to these stores, they've seen those displays, or they've seen ones like it, if not that, and so it's the more you can bring people into the world of the story that you're trying to tell, all the better. Yep.
I really liked the sort of awkward conversations that was going on. Because it was so real that I was cringing inside. I was like, oh, I've been in the same situation before. You're making me relive it. But I love being able to connect like that.
That's a testament to the actors. Thank you guys. You killed it.
It's very awkward.
And we had white fights do exist. Anybody been to Sam's in the last little bit have seen those. I'm like, I was there with my nephew, and he goes, "Why is there a white tree?" Yeah.
I was about to say, yes, that was a good.
The white
all
mic
the
is-
stuff that you had in this basket.
Yeah.
The specific things.
Oh, that is what me and my nephew went shopping for a couple weeks ago. I took him for his birthday, and I was like, "What do you want?" He goes, "Iced honey buns." All right.
We have to wait. One remiss if we did not mention every show should have an Alchemy reference.
Yes. An Alchemy reference? What do you mean?
Thanks to this cast, we'll bring the next group on. Next up is the reason many of you are here.
Oh, boy.
I've lost the paper forever. We're jumping into the student portion of the evening. We had the privilege to have some great teachers to have us up, and they care a lot about their students. And
Ladies' tone.
it's really important. This is very important. What we're doing is we feel it's very, very important. And we have, first up is Addison Elizabeth Glenn. She's here somewhere else. Wave at everybody. There you are. She was in Miss Hannah Lanza's class, and they let us come over and talk to him for a little while. And which one are you?
I'm Charles.
You're Charles.
Charles.
This is called To Love is to Hate. Without further ado, you're up.
Goodbye, Em. It's too late.
To Love is to Hate by Addison Glenn. Scene. A dimly lit square room, an armchair and a sofa sit across from one another. A young Englishman sits at his desk, working on a few papers. Glasses sit on the bridge of his nose, the lenses gleaming from the firelight. We hear the sound of a doorknob click as the door to the room is being opened. Another young Englishman enters, hands stuffed in his pockets. He approaches the man's desk. The man finally sets his pen down and looks up.
The party is still going on downstairs. People are asking where you've gone.
The man at his desk looks back down to his work, picking up his pen again.
Charles, you and I both know nothing entertaining happens at these house parties, and I've got work to do.
Oh, I know you're busy. I, of all people, should know.
He wanders over to a chair near a bookshelf. As he goes to sit down, he grabs a random book and opens it.
Leo, you've been up here hour after hour. You haven't slept, eaten, or had any proper fun lately. How you've used the term work now, play later is entirely different from mine.
Charles lets a soft laugh leave his mouth. Leo looks up from his papers with a look of frustration.
At least I work for what I want and not put it off as some silly dream.
Charles slides his eyes Leo's way, brows knitted together and lips slightly parted in disbelief.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing, forget it. No use in arguing with you.
Charles gets up once again, approaches Leonardo's desk.
What are you talking about? I've done work. I've been doing work. If you didn't realize, we've been working together for months, years. How long have we been friends? Since before we could talk or walk? And how long have we been working together in our parents' businesses? Since we knew our roles in them. Don't act like you're the only one doing something here.
Leonardo quickly stands, leaning his weight on his desk. He stares at Charles across from him.
Do not sit here and act like you've been supporting me these past 6 months. You got aggravated and torn apart by one piece of paperwork and gave up. I have worked for this and will continue to do so.
What are you so angry about? And don't you dare go on about me not supporting you. I've been here since the beginning. The very beginning. Is it so wrong for me to go off on my own for a little while? I'm my own person, just as you are.
That is not the point, Charles. You were not there when I needed you most. I even wrote to you. I had others write to you. I almost stepped away from my biggest business deal to come find you.
He comes out from behind the desk and stands in front of him. His face has a pleading look.
Don't you understand? All I'm asking is for you to stay and support me. Stay and help me through all this work and interviews and meetings. Help me, please.
Charles thinks for a long while before moving to the door and grabbing the knob. He turns back to look at Leonardo.
I think you'll be fine with Jones.
Leonardo's face completely drops and becomes just as angry as before.
Don't you dare bring that into this conversation. Don't you dare.
Then what am I supposed to do? He was the one to break us apart, and you didn't do a thing to stop it. If you didn't realize, I'm the one here now and not off getting drunk downstairs. Emmanuel Jones has done nothing good for our families, and we both know it.
He has done more than you have. He's also been there for me.
Been there for you? You don't even know him. What happened to hating him and finding a way to take him down? Where is that Leo I once knew?
Where is the Charles that wouldn't have let this happen in the first place? He would have saved us from all this mess.
He is the reason our companies have gone against each other and have started falling apart.
Leonardo stares at him in disbelief before shaking his head.
No, he's not. You're selling us junk steel ores. I know you are. I've seen it with my own eyes.
What are you talking about? My family would never. I would never. We've been selling you the same thing for years and years. But why would it matter? Jones told me you've been buying someone else's scrap for years and throwing ours to the side.
Oh, please, that's not at all true. We only just now stopped after seeing the mess you have for us.
How many times do I have to tell you we have been selling the same thing to you for hundreds of years? Why would we all of a sudden stop?
Leonardo looks away and goes back behind his desk. He sits and clasps his hand on his lap, thinking.
We forgave you, me and my family. We thought maybe you just needed to get something fresh or new for a while. That's why it was never brought up in any meetings. I made sure it wasn't mentioned so there were no complications.
It's no excuse. You can't turn back time and it's already been done.
Leonardo thinks for a moment before continuing. considering his options.
Get out.
Charles' head quickly whips up, eyes worrisome and wide.
You don't mean that.
Oh, but I do. I really do.
What? You think sending me away is just going to solve all these problems? Going to make this whole conversation disappear as if it never happened?
It will for the time being. It's best for both of us.
Charles scoffs and rubs his face, going back and forth in the room. He sweeps his hair back, hands resting on the back of his head.
So, this is what you want. Brilliant. Just grand. Amazing, really.
Charles grabs the doorknob and looks back at Leonardo, who is staring at his work with a stern face.
Goodbye, Leo. Hope you have a better life without me in it.
Charles opens and slams the door behind him. 2 years later, the lights darken for a few moments before we're brought back to the same setting. Leonardo still sits at his desk, still working. He has grown a mustache and maybe even gained some sternness to his face. The office is all the same, but with papers piled everywhere and books scattered around. A 24 by 36 poster hangs above the same single chair Charles had sat in before. The poster is a World War I propaganda with Uncle Sam on it, asking for soldiers. In Leonardo's right hand, a pen is frantically writing on a piece of paper. A knock is sounded at the door, and an older woman walks in. Leonardo looks up.
Mother, what's wrong? You look distressed.
Leonardo's mother walks further into the stands and to stand in front of her son's desk. Her eyes are bloodshot and puffy.
Leo, something awful has happened.
Leonardo doesn't answer. He looks down at his paper and his jaw tightens. His face hardens and his voice is quiet yet hard.
How long? How long has he been dead?
A day now. We didn't get work until this morning. I didn't want to interrupt your meeting for it.
Leonardo turns his head to the side and drops it into his hand.
Leave me, please. This war has already cost us 1 million lives. I didn't want it to cost one more.
The woman nods and turns to walk out. She stops at the doorway and looks at him.
He loved being your best friend. He wouldn't have traded you for the entire world.
She finally steps out and closes the door behind her. Within seconds, Leonardo breaks into mourning tears. He stops only for a second to hold his hair back as he hangs his head. An inhaled and exhaled breath escapes him quickly.
Oh, Charles. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
End.
Thank you. That was To Love Is to Hate. Next up is Birthday Break-In for something completely different by Audrey Stoll. Audrey's here, right? Audrey has a very mediocre teacher named Mr. Steve. No, he's great. Adam Stevens. Which character?
I'm Jamie.
Who's Garrett?
I'm Garrett.
All right, there's Garrett.
Dependable.
I'm going to show this one. Yes, this author wrote in a horse. Arlo is here. This is Birthday Break-In.
Cast of characters: Jamie, serious and competent office worker; Arlo, lazy co-worker of Jamie; Garrett, dependable friend of Jamie and Arlo; and Horse. A horse. Its purpose is unknown, its bloodlust unquenched. Scene: it's Jamie's birthday, so Arlo and Garrett want to surprise him. They need time to set up decorations. Jamie is in his office, stage left, working, and Arlo and Garrett are in the hall outside, stage right, talking. Open curtain. Jamie is sitting at a desk writing while Garrett and Arlo are in the middle of a conversation in the hall.
I know you're excited, But how are we going to set things up before Jamie goes home? We only have this one chance. It's almost the end of his birthday.
Relax, Garrett. I can just give him some of my work like I usually do. He'll be mad in the moment, but he'll understand later.
You give him your work? How have you not been fired?
Because of my amazingly good looks.
Stares at Arlo suspiciously for a beat, then looks away.
Well, anyway, how long would your work take for him to do?
Well, he's fast, but it's a hefty chunk of work. Maybe 2 hours, 3 tops.
Okay, that should be enough time. Go get your work.
Can do.
Arlo runs off from stage right and returns a couple seconds later with a stack of papers.
All right, here it is.
Looks at the stack of papers.
Well, that was fast. Does he do all your work?
Pretty much. Should I take this to him now?
Yeah, I'll start getting stuff ready.
Goes off stage right. Arlo walks to the door to Jamie's office, takes a deep breath, and walks in.
Hey, Jamie, my dude, my bro. I know you're busy, but would you mind taking care of some...
No, Arlo, do your own work, and I'm not your bro.
But you're still my dude. J-Man, please, could you do this one thing? I have something important to do, and you're already at your desk.
I want to actually go home early for once. Stop messing around. If you know I'm busy, then don't bother me.
Arlo walks around the desk to where Jamie is and takes Jamie's hands and gets down on knees, setting the papers on the floor beside them.
Please, Jamie! I am serious when I say this is the last time I will do this. I will do all my own work from now on. As your friend and co-worker, I swear it.
Fine. But keep your promise, Arlo. Put the papers on my desk.
Thank you! I won't forget this.
Better not.
Arlo leaves Jamie's office and enters the hall, looks around quizzically.
Garrett, where'd you go?
I'm coming!
Garrett enters with messed up hair and clothes, holding a large box.
Whoa! You have a fight with a tornado or something?
No, I was just getting something that didn't want to be taken.
Sets down the box. Arlo looks at Garrett suspiciously.
You didn't steal a kid or something, did you?
Oh, no, it's not a child.
Uh-huh.
Arlo puts hands on hips. Garrett, joking, scandalized expression, puts hands on heart.
You don't really think that low of me, do you?
I wouldn't put it past you. Anyway, so what is this definitely not a child that definitely wasn't stolen?
A horse.
What?
A horse, you know, that four-legged animal that people ride.
Garrett, I know what a horse is. Why did you bring one?
Because why not? Besides, we don't have a whole lot of plans for when Jamie gets out of here, and it'd be fun to see his reaction.
It would be. Is the horse here?
Do you see a horse here? I got the horse to the building, but can't get it inside.
Uh-huh, yeah. It's almost like horses aren't supposed to be in office buildings. Besides, Jamie hates horses.
Well, no harm then, because it can't get in. Correction, the horse is able to get inside.
Garrett and Arlo run to Jamie's door and press themselves against it.
Good thing Jamie's office is soundproof. Do you think if we put up a happy birthday sign, he'd be less mad?
Well, it's that or wait for our impending doom.
Opens large box and quickly leans sign on chairs. Arlo throws confetti.
Hey, the horse isn't making noise anymore. Do you think it's not able to enter?
You know, every time you say something, the opposite happens. Maybe you should just shut up.
Not important right now. What is important is what do we do? We could ask Jamie, face this thing, or run.
I'd rather drink the Ohio River than talk to Jamie when he's mad, but I think we have to ask Jamie.
Agreed.
Garrett and Arlo run into Jamie's room, slam the door closed, and hold it closed.
What is wrong with you two? Are you insane?
Oh, nah. We just wanted to see our
Horse bangs on door.
friend,
Horse bangs on door.
Jamie.
What did you two do?
Nothing. How are you doing today?
Fine.
Oh, really? That's great.
Jamie stands up.
Okay, what are you two planning?
So long story short, we need your help.
Oh?
Yeah, we have an uninvited guest at the office today.
Well, sort of invited, but no longer welcome.
Is there a criminal inside this building?
Maybe.
Jamie walks around the desk and stands in front of Arlo and Garrett and folds arms.
What do you mean, maybe?
This one is sort of a loophole in the law.
Okay, tell me what you did, and if I will have to bail you out of jail now.
Garrett stole a horse and now it's running rampant in the office and we don't know how to fix it. And please help us and don't be mad, please. I swear we're sorry. Please.
I did not steal it. I know a guy who knows a guy.
You're not making this better.
And why did you bring a horse into the office, Garrett?
For your birthday. I wanted it to be memorable.
Well, that was incredibly irresponsible and thoughtless of you. But I guess thank you for trying to be useful. Now, what are we going to do to fix this problem?
We were hoping you could do something about it.
What did you think I could do?
I don't know, maybe you could lecture it to death or something.
Jamie looks at Garrett questioningly.
What? We didn't have any other ideas.
Hey, there's not a lot of noise anymore. Is the horse gone?
Now who's jinxing us?
Both of you shut up. They'll get bored eventually and leave. We should be able to wait it out.
It might take all night, though. Isn't there anything faster?
We could call animal control, but they'll only respond if the horse is injured or abused.
Well, look on the bright side. Arlo gets to do paperwork.
Boo! I want to do work.
Too bad. This is expected of you anyway, but for now it will suffice as punishment. Garrett, what will your punishment be?
Not having to fight a horse?
No, I guess I'll think of one later for you.
Arlo walks to the opposite wall, very stage left.
Hey, guys, there's a window right here. We're on the first floor. We could just leave.
Oh, good idea, Arlo. Let us go.
Yeah, before the horse breaks down the door.
Goes next to Arlo.
Take that paperwork, though, Arlo. You still have to do it.
Arlo nods in defeat. Jamie goes next to Garrett and Arlo and starts opening the window.
Come on, leave.
Hey,
Jamie.
What is it?
Happy birthday.
The end.
Horse stage. That's free. Next up, we have The Devil Doesn't Bargain by Joshua David Bonyak.
Oh, full name.
Full name, Joshua David Bonyak. Josh goes to Huntington High School, and this is the second or third time you've been accepted for the second time. We're always, I'll put you there.
Oh, you put me.
Glad would get his work. This is actually the second play that Josh submitted for New Works because he was so anxious to write a play. He did it before I set out all the guidelines, and his play didn't meet any of the guidelines. So he turned this out in 5-6 hours.
Yes.
So he did. He sat down. He didn't do anything else at school the rest of the day, even in your class, Susan Dunphy, when you watch this video later. This is The Devil Doesn't Bargain by Joshua David Bonyak.
Cast of characters. Freddie. Freddie Knowles is a 56-year-old inmate. He was put in prison for a hit-and-run incident with a little girl. He makes himself out to be evil and act like he doesn't care that he killed her. But he is the definition of don't judge a book by its cover. Sherry. Sherry Akers is a 28-year-old news reporter for Channel 3 News. She is interviewing Freddie for a documentary. It is her first interview ever. She starts out nervous and energetic, but once the camera starts rolling, she gets in the zone. She doesn't believe that Freddie is who he makes himself out to be. She is constantly trying to uncover the truth. Devil. The conscience of Freddie. He is the voice inside Freddie's head telling him to act all evil. Throughout the play, he tries to guide Freddie to the wrong path, but when Freddie starts ignoring him, he gets angry. Carol. The mother of Chloe. She just wishes her daughter was alive. Synopsis. Freddie Knowles is a prisoner who was convicted for a hit-and-run incident with a little girl named Chloe. He has stumped many interviewers from discovering his true personality, but when young Sherry Akers comes in, he has finally met his match. The devil on Freddie's shoulder is relentless and is constantly able to lead Freddie to the wrong path. However, Sherry is better than she looks. Scene 1. Lights up. On stage, we see an interrogation room. There is a table center stage. At the table is Freddie in prison clothes with handcuffs on his hands. Sherry enters with her case file and camera. She sets up the camera and sits down across from him.
Freddie?
Yes.
I am Sherry Akers with Channel 3 News. I'm here to ask you a few questions.
Sherry, huh? Well, let me tell you, I already know what you're going to ask me. Why'd you do it? Why'd you run? Why couldn't you have just put the phone down?
Those are some interesting questions, but no, actually, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, are you okay?
What?
Are you okay?
As okay as a prisoner can be.
Now we get to the technical stuff. How old are you?
46.
How
old are you, darling?
28.
Ah, a young reporter. Let me guess. First big story like this?
Yeah.
How many interviews have you done before?
None. This is my first one, actually. It's exciting.
Devil stands up from behind the table and stations himself behind Freddie.
You could eat her alive.
So, let's get started. Please state your name for the camera.
I am Freddie Knowles.
Could you explain what happened the evening of March 19th, 2016?
Simple. Just as we rehearsed. Show no remorse. She'll walk out of here a blubbering mess.
At 8:35 p.m., I was driving in my car. It was dark and chilly that evening. I wasn't in a rush. I had nowhere to be. I got a text from my wife telling me dinner was ready. No one was on the road that night. It was 25 miles per hour, but I thought it was harmless to go 50. The light was green when I looked, so I took out my phone and texted my wife back, and right when I did, the light changed. The light turned red, but I didn't see it. That's when little Chloe waddled her way onto the crosswalk, and bam!
You don't seem too shaken. I know if it were me, I'd care a little bit more.
Ooh, she's got a bit of a bite to her. But she's no different. She just wants you to feel bad. Don't feel bad. Little tyke should look both ways, like Mommy and Daddy taught her.
She should have looked both ways.
Well, why should that matter?
Well, like mommies and daddies always say, look both ways before crossing the street.
Or like the law says, go the speed limit, don't text and drive, don't drive away from a crime scene. But no, you don't listen, do you?
No, I don't.
Why'd you drive away?
You don't have to answer that.
Because
Why?
Because my gas pedal foot has a twisted mind of its own.
So you just drove away after hitting a little girl? What did her mom have to say in court?
Something along the lines of...
Devil and Freddie mouth what Carol is saying.
I am a woman of God. I have been raised on the foundations of forgiveness. But in this moment, looking you in the face, seeing your lack of concern for my daughter, how can I? How can I forgive the man that took my sunshine in the world? If you could have seen her smile, you would understand my loss. But more importantly, how can I forgive myself? She was 8. 8. How could I have let her go without holding my hand? How can I forgive you? I don't know. But I do. I don't wish death to you. I don't wish torture on you, but reflection. For however long you are in prison, I wish you reflect every day about the little girl's life you took away. All the memories she could have made, all the hugs she could have given, all the things left to do. Reflect on everything you took away from her.
Have you
What?
reflected?
Heck yeah, we did.
Yes, ma'am, but not how she wants me to.
What have you reflected on?
Oh, I could have gotten away with it if I tried.
Not about what you could have done to prevent it or about the life you took.
No, why would I?
Well,
No, shut up and listen. Why should I reflect on this? Why would I replay that moment over and over again in my mind on purpose? Why should I willfully do that? Cause myself pain over and over every day for the rest of my life? You wouldn't, so why should I? Because I'm a prisoner? Does that seem fair?
thinking about it causes you pain.
Of course! I'm human. I have emotions too.
Good one. Make people think you have feelings so that it humanizes you.
Many people would beg to differ. They would consider you something else. Many people don't think of you as human. They think of you as...
A monster.
Well done, Sherry. It's not like we've never heard that one before.
Yes.
You want to know what I say to them?
What?
You're right. But that's because they have a different definition of the word monster. See, they consider a monster either this fictional creature with claws or someone who is so outrageously evil that being considered a human wouldn't seem right.
What do you consider a monster?
But you see, a monster isn't a bad thing, it's just something that is different. I am different than everyone else. I am someone who cares about things that take care of me. I care about food because without it I will die. I care about water because it brings me life. I care about the earth I live on. And I care about my well-being because if I constantly spent my time worrying about someone else, I would get myself nowhere.
Exactly. None of these people will ever do you any good.
So you don't care about people in general?
Not really, no.
I do care, actually, about the people that make the food and the purity of the water. They are heroes. Nobody ever thanks them for keeping us alive.
Little off script, but you're doing fine.
I see. Many inmates are intensely frightened of you. Why do you feel that is?
Because I'm not afraid of death.
Freddie Mouse, all of Devil's words.
If you replace the fear of death with the anticipation of it, your outward appearance will change. People are always afraid of dying. Every day they live, they are afraid to die because they have something to live for.
I will be in here the rest of my life, so nothing to live for means there's nothing to lose. And looking at someone with that mindset is frightening. Aren't you frightened?
No, not one bit.
Oh, come on. You don't have to be strong for the camera. Cut the camera and tell me the truth.
The truth is, I know you. I know everything about you. Every job, every purchase, every psych evaluation, everything.
Maybe a little overkill in the background check?
If you know everything, then why are you here?
Because the world deserves to know as well. They need to hear it from you, and you need to say it. You need to finally have that burden off your shoulders. Just say you care about that little girl, and you will feel so much better. Now let's get back to the interview.
She's better than I thought. Don't say anything. Stay strong. If you drop your wall, well, you leave yourself vulnerable to attack.
Why did you keep driving?
My gas foot didn't want to stop.
That isn't important.
Why didn't you stop?
Keep your mouth shut, Freddie.
Because...
Don't tell her, Freddie. Nobody needs to know.
Why?
Because I couldn't look my baby girl in the face.
Freddie, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy?
Keep going. It's okay.
I couldn't look at my daughter as she lied there dying. When I hit her, I stopped because I didn't know what I'd hit. But then I saw her little shoes sticking out from her under my car. My little girl meant everything to me. And for me to do that to her, for me to be so stupid and selfish knowing that Chloe was the one who had to pay for it, she was my everything. When I lost her, everything started to fall. I couldn't stand it. I drove all the way to Toledo before I stopped. It was like I was trying to escape the reality of my future.
She was a kid. She probably didn't feel a thing.
Freddie, I know you're a good man.
No, the people are right. I'm a monster.
The devil doesn't bargain. If you let him keep controlling you, eventually he will completely overtake you. But you have the ability to fight back. Use that. Don't let him take over. Let yourself be in control for once and see how it feels.
Oh, come on. What kind of baloney is she feeding you? Just keep everything the same. Change is bad. Remember the last big change? You lost everything. You don't want that to happen again, do you?
Sherry gathers her stuff and exits. Freddie exits. Devil stays behind and like a mime in a box and can't move.
Hey, come on, Freddie. You can try to leave me behind, but you can't escape me, Freddie. Freddie!
Blackout. End of play.
But this one, we're going to let the actors have a seat, and I'm going to invite the authors to come down to the hot seats that are really not that hot. So come on down. They want to see your face and the work that you did. That was great. What we're going to do is we're going to do this talk back here, and then we're going to take like a 10-minute break so you guys can get some concessions across the way. If you want to buy season passes or T-shirts or any of that stuff, that's across the way as well. Let's hear it again for these young authors. We'll start with Addison's show, To Love is to Hate. There are a lot of people with a lot of questions, and I'll start with Jennifer Stapleton because she's like, I have lots of questions about Addison's piece. What'd you think? You have her as a student, right? Or in the same school?
I had Addison last year, and I told her she's one of the most talented writers I've ever had in class. And so every day I would tell her, you have to write, you have to write. And when you're famous one day, you have to dedicate something to me.
Who else has questions? Nick.
Last year, I wrote a very sad piece, and I know that's hard to do. I just wanted to know how you came up with the idea.
The reason why I wrote more of a sad piece is I can't be funny enough to write like a funnier one, but a lot of people, like when they watch movies or something, they don't like the sad endings, but I'm like all for it because it's like I want the dramaticness of it, and just I wanted to see if I could create something for a totally like different audience that I don't even know who anybody is, to see if they appreciate it as much. But I tried to get in that mindset of try to go slowly into why it would be sad.
Okay. Oh.
Did you intend for there to be an unspoken romance, or no? Or is that just Brian and my chemistry?
I'm trying to write a book about it, but it's a little maybe a little bit.
I think you could play it either way. That's it. The way it's written, I think you could.
What did their companies make? And like, 'cause I really felt like it was like parts for the guns in the war, and like he had a part killing him, and
Charles, he makes like it's stuff for like okay, hold on. I'm still trying to like figure it out.
You're fine.
Well, you mentioned somebody makes alloys. Who sold the alloys?
I'm selling the scrap to
Yeah.
Okay.
Leonardo's.
Steel ore. It's for
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea about making it for the weapons, especially if you're going around full circle and connecting it to the war.
It kind of just like anything, because it's set in 1912.
Yeah.
So it's like they make stuff for like all the big things. So their families are like big business.
Magnates.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I wondered, was it a defective part made by the company that caused his death?
No, that's a great question, because that's the stuff that writers love to hear. You're like, because you get hung up, especially when you're doing that kind of work. Like you get hung up because this is part of a larger piece, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, help me solve some problems.
I add that in actually.
You hinted at it when they were having the argument, and he was like, we never gave you anything that wasn't good. We gave you all the same stuff. And I was thinking, like
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah. I will say the Jones guy, he kind of plays in because neither of them are like giving each other bad stuff. He just doesn't want that friendship because he's envious of it. So now that you say that, I might have to do something with that.
Blair has a question back in the back.
How did Charles die?
Got shot.
Well, do you have any questions for the actors that played your parts? Yeah? You saw their work, that was enough. Sheila?
Found it interesting that at the beginning of the second, after they
part there, have the argument, you got the sign trying to get people to sign up. I don't know why Charles signed up, but your mother didn't. And I wonder how many times that's played out universally in the world. People are, you know, mad at each other and something happens and they can't reconcile. So.
Feel like are you asking like why he signed up and not? Or just...
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting that he talks about a million people dying. Why is he still there working? Why is he?
I mean, I think we all heard.
Showing the sign up,
Yeah.
but he's still there.
But, and that's a great point, because I think we always think when we leave somebody, when we leave angry, that we're going to get another chance. And I think it's really important. That's an important message, that you don't always get another chance.
I liked how you had the war poster above the empty chair. Like, I love that.
That's a great visual.
That was awesome.
Trying to think.
And so it's good foreshadowing for what happens at the end, too.
All right. Now for something completely different.
Now let's talk about a horse.
Audrey, what did you think of your actors' performances?
I thought it was really amazing, especially the actor who played Arlo. I don't know your name, but you did a really great job. I didn't know how to describe Arlo exactly, but you really fleshed out the character a lot. I really enjoyed it.
On first read, I was like, whoever this author is, because I didn't read the author's names as I was going through and selecting pieces. I was like, this author really understands how idiotic teenage boys are. Then I was really excited when I read your name. I was like, yeah, she gets it. But yeah.
What? Prompted the horse. Like, do you mean how I came up with the idea, or just why they brought it?
Yeah. How'd you come up with that idea for a horse?
I don't know. I was just wanting something super chaotic. Like, the original story was them just being like, there's like this horrible beast in the office. We don't know how it got in, and it's like one of the other coworkers, like children or something. So, and I didn't know it because I didn't have enough people, so I didn't know what to do with that.
Oh, the horse was correct.
Yeah, the horse was the correct choice.
Yes. And somebody else is probably going to say this, but I want to say it first. Your sense of comedy at your age, how old are you?
I'm 14.
That's stupid. There are
That's
authors
incredible.
all over the world that are going to be mad at you now.
I mean, I am now.
Yeah. He's been trying to write comedy for years.
No, like you have such a well-honed craft to be your age. Like it's really stunning.
It does not make sense.
And it was like that. Like these moments are just awesome to see happen live in front of you. Like you never know what to expect when you come to things like this, and you're like, oh, some high school kids are going to write some stuff. And you're like, well, I have a preconceived notion of what that's going to be in my head before that happens. And I mean, you blew it out of the water. And all of these pieces that we chose are really, really great for where you are and are far and above where you should be. All of them across the board tonight. So you have a lot to be proud of, and your parents and teachers and family and friends have a lot to be proud of. And I'm glad that they're here supporting you.
And I'd like to say, just to throw that compliment back at you, I knew from the first time that I read it that I was going to get laughs with it, and that's incredible, and it doesn't happen if the writing isn't on point.
Thank you.
Rick.
I want to pat the actors on the back, because with comedy, timing is everything, and with one rehearsal, they nailed it. The timing that was just, it just made it really funny. And
it was quite clear to me.
You're very lucky.
The lines are very active, and the way the comedy works is crystal clear, which he's right. They're right. It's pretty remarkable at your age.
And I don't know if Mr. Stevens will drive this home later. The people that are making these comments have done this work for a long time. This isn't just us being super nice to you. This is for everybody. Yeah.
For those of us who've actually worked in an office, you captured 3 perfect archetypes. The guy with the nose to the grindstone, and the guy who's never heard of a grindstone, and the guy who's he's there and he does the job, but that's, that's not his life. But you didn't make them stereotypes. You made them unique characters who fit a certain category that all of us have seen in the real world.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you.
And the horse was great specifically because
And the horse was a great architect.
of a horse.
Yeah, great officer.
But it's great to be able to think outside the box like that, and to be able to create that kind of anarchy. The known comedian and curmudgeon Lewis Black, who was a correspondent on The Daily Show for a long time, has a bit about how he overheard part of a conversation, and part of that conversation was, if it hadn't been for that horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college. And in his bit, he is trying to figure out what that conversation could have meant, and never really figures it out. So, but it's that kind of idea that like you throw this into a normal sort of business setting, you sort of throw this grenade into the center of it, and it really worked. It's very nice.
Adam, have us back in a couple weeks or whatever after we get through Charlie Brown, and we'll talk about this play. We'll break it down a little bit. Is that okay? Do that at school? Is that all right?
Yeah.
I put everybody on the spot. Miss Donahoe, come downstairs and watch it. Okay. Beth.
For a second there, when the box came in, I thought the horse was in the box.
Okay. What's the box?
All right, let's now for something again completely different. Josh's piece, "The Devil Doesn't Bargain." There's a lot going on in there, especially for a guy who wrote this in 6 hours. Who has something to ask, or are you afraid to ask? Blair has something to ask.
So whenever Freddy drives over his child, why did he not stick on the car and try to at least help her stay alive?
Because he was scared. When something that traumatic happens to you, your body and your mind go into shock. You stop thinking. When I was in middle school, there was a whole fight about trying to put seatbelts on the bus. And one of my teachers said, that's more dangerous than not having seatbelts. Because if there ever were an emergency like that, the kids wouldn't think to unbuckle the seatbelt. They would be trying to jerk it off, like you see in movies when cars go underwater. Because your mind stops. You don't think rationally. You think, oh my God, what just happened? I gotta keep going. I can't look back. So that's why.
Sheila.
Oh, so I just have to say, I was not expecting a twist.
What was unique is we always coach the students to not put in a twist, ever. But
so you see how our coaching working.
Yeah. but the caveat is because I want to care about the characters first, and the reason that I was so willing to accept this is because I felt like we cared about Freddy and his plight by the time we got there, right?
I like the idea of the devil because, like, just him speaking at the same time as Freddy, it was just really nice. And like when they mouthed when Carol was speaking, I just thought it was like, yeah.
Do you want the cool answer about why I added that, or do you want the truth?
Truth.
Okay, so I have raging ADHD, and after Steven said, yes, you have to rewrite an entire new play, yours does not meet any of the requirements. I was like, okay, well, and my mind started going to some really weird places. Like, he gave us like, okay, come up with your very own situation right now. And I was like, okay, a pregnant lady stuck in her house because of a snowstorm. That's completely different than the play is now.
Right.
Because for some reason I started thinking about an Austin and Ally episode where the consciences just showed up on the shoulder, and I was like, And then I thought about me and Nadia's duo, and I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, so what if this happened? Because everybody's got that voice inside of their head that you really shouldn't listen to, but you really want to because they are so charismatic. Like, Davion did an amazing job. He was so good. And I think writing a character that could be portrayed any way is really scary for me to watch because I was like, okay, anybody could do anything with this. And see, now you're getting my ADHD because I forgot what I was talking about.
That's the cool answer.
The cool answer is I do speech and debate, so I saw a piece like this, which I did, but it was about Mary Poppins' evil sister. So her name was Mary Choppins.
Nick, what do you have?
I was gonna ask. I don't think you explained what your duo is in speech and debate.
Well, it's a play called Bang Bang You're Dead, cut down to 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We did Bang
Yeah.
at Huntington High years ago, yeah.
It's basically about this. I also came up with the idea from the duo. This guy named Josh, my character, he is getting bullied by these kids at school, and so eventually this shadow character, that is a shadow of a different him deep inside, tells him, okay, you should shoot up the school. And that's why it's so successful in speech and debate, because people don't want to rank down the school shooting piece lower than the Mary Choppins piece.
Rick.
I think there's a lesson for the young writers here when they write people and characters and parts, and you put in a small part. And I just have to tell you that Nora took 16 sentences, I counted them, and she had me crying by the end of that time. She was that mom. She took the character, put herself, and that's a small part. That was the only thing she said, was that one little soliloquy, and it meant so much for the whole, and to bounce off the characters of the other people. She really nailed it, and I think you'll see that there are no small parts.
Becky.
That's when the little twist, the reveal that Chloe was his child, my brain, like, had this been on film and me with the remote, I would have immediately gone back to hers to see what exactly did she say. Did she give me a clue there? Was there something? And the one thing I questioned was, where was her anger? You know? Yeah. But so that's where my head immediately, I was like, okay, what were her exact words? What did she say?
Keith.
I would just say this piece, I appreciate the level of dark that's in it because it gives actors somewhere to go. I think if you were to put it on stage, the concept of the devil, you could do that so many different ways, but the way this is written, you would really want that to be quite dark, demonized, not a caricature, right? But there's so many places that you can go with this piece. I feel like the setting of the prison and somebody having their first interview and all those sorts of things, that you could set it up to where it's really very, very intense. When we did the initial read through, there was that, whoa, like moment when we were reading through it. So I feel like it, brought to life, it would take people on that journey. And to reiterate about the section in there with the mother's speech, that part is almost like something where it focuses in on her, and that's all that matters in that situation. And the way that you wrote it brings all that attention to that. And I think that was a really good job.
Are you expanding this for one act for state?
No. I already submitted my one act for that one, and I could not find a flattering cut of it that would really bring all of it to life.
Yeah, my suggestion was going to be, if you do expand this at any time, take more time with it, and I would say build more into Sherry's character to give a yin yang kind of thing, so we see how dark he is. All right, we're gonna take 10 minutes. Go get some concessions. We'll be
5 more plays to go, everybody.
halfway mark. Next up,
You know it's not in there, but you gotta bring it back to being the daughter.
we have a play by our friend and Alchemy apprentice, formerly seen in the Book Women here at Alchemy Theater by Nick Booth, who is also a student at Huntington High School. And we are going to be performing his original work. This is we've done new works 3 years now here at Alchemy. This is Nick's 3rd time being selected to be read at Alchemy. I think it's a record. I think he beats all other authors, I think. maybe than Eric Fitzhugh. That's the only person that's been read as many times. So, Storm Time in the Airport by Nick Booth.
Airport. What's fine.
Strong
We're
start,
gonna.
strong
Hey.
Sorry, Nick.
Blooper reel.
Cast of characters. 2-star. Airport voice / worker. Same person plays the staff and comm system. Jax, a young man from Ireland trying to get to LaGuardia Airport to meet his girlfriend. Millennial, casual dress, and is very happy even in the sad circumstances. Carlisle, a middle-aged man trying to get back home after being away for decades. Gen X, very professional and upscale, is quite anxious. And Salazar, an older man trying to get to his daughter for her wedding. Boomer, very nicely dressed, is annoyed. We open on 2 benches pushed together with no one at them. They're in an airport terminal. The walls are drab gray with arrows marking where to go. Carlisle comes in and flops down on the bench. He looks both ways, then reaches into his carry-on and brings out a bottle of alcohol and a cup and pours himself a drink. He downs it. He quickly puts the drink away and sits in silence. After a second or few of airport noise, he takes out a note stored in his pocket.
Well, I already know what it says. Might as well read it instead of delaying the inevitable.
All passengers, please board flight 3B.
He sets the note down, grabs the cup and bottle, pours a drink. He puts it back.
At this rate, maybe Dave's note will say, "Love you, little brother." Just to prove this, I got you some women because you know how awful it is to be alone. Or another bottle of scotch for you, dear brother, as I've heard you've been in that horrible airport for 2 days now, and we both know you'd rather be here. Yeah, I think that thought is deserving of another pour.
Cup, scotch, pour. Starts drinking, but intercom comes on, so he listens.
If you have a child named Charles Hayden McDaniel, please get him. We do not have the staff to deal with him right now.
Keeps drinking and puts it back away.
Yep. It's not doing anything. Guess I'll have to read it with a slight buzz instead of full drunkenness. Dear Carlisle Fisher, sorry to send this news at such a weak point in your life, but Mother has gone too far in her sickness. I know you're busy, but she wants you to be there for her living wake. I know this might not get to you, but I hope for the sake of our mother, you can make it. I know in the past you have decided not to come to family functions, but this is different. So please set aside your differences and find it in your heart to see your poor, sickly mother. That last sentence was written by your poor, sickly mother, who is too sick to plan the wake or even work on it with me, but not sick enough to not guilt trip both of her sons. Yes, I'm reading this aloud to her as she's getting annoyed. I hope I see you. It's been way too long. Motor vehicle. My dear brother. Love, David Fisher. P.S. The party will be December 31st. Well, that's far better than what I thought I was going to say. Now, skies clear for my plane! It was worth a try.
In walks Jax. He has no carry-on. He pulls out his phone and starts looking at it.
Well, that's the sad part of online dating from halfway across the world you aren't able to touch. I can't wait to see you in person, finally.
Jax looks over at Carlisle.
Oh, sorry. Just talking to myself. But you wouldn't know that, did I do that? Sorry.
It's fine. I was just talking about something out loud, too. You see, if you say talking out loud, it sounds nicer than saying you were talking to yourself. If you say you're speaking to yourself, it sounds like you're more or less having counsel with yourself rather than saying talking out loud in which you're saying something out loud to hear it better than trying to imagine it in your brain.
Thanks for the tip.
Welcome. I'm Carlisle Fisher.
I'm Jackson, but you can call me Jax. It's what everyone calls me.
Okay, it was great to meet you, Jax.
Now opening Gate D restrooms.
You think we might be here for a while?
Yes. I'm a Delta Diamond medallion holder, so I know well that this will be no short order of time. Contrary to popular belief, you become diamond status from flying a lot and not giving them some extra coins so they can cash them in.
Jax looks at him confused.
You're all right. Want to play 3 questions?
3 questions?
Yeah. We ask each other questions until we get to 3. Then we decide if we want to go our separate ways. It's a derivative of 20 questions.
Okay, that sounds...
Salazar comes in looking frustrated.
This airport better open up, or I'll fly the darn plane into the Plaza Hotel myself.
Salazar sits down.
You all right there?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Sorry, sir.
No. I'm sorry. I just have a lot on my mind.
Would you like to discuss it over a game of 3 questions?
3 questions?
Am I the only person who knows about 3 questions?
Seems like you might be.
Well, it's played by asking other questions until the questions pass the amount of 3. Since I was the one to bring it up, I'll ask first. Why is everyone here? I'll be the first to answer as well, by laws of the game. I'm going to propose to my girlfriend. We've been together 3.5 years now. I've decided this is the perfect time to seal the deal. I'm meeting her in LaGuardia, and that's where I'll give her the ring. I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity, and we're going to the city where I first met her. Is most certainly the perfect opportunity. How about you?
Near the end of Salazar's answer, Carlisle gets out his drink.
Well, as I'm sure you heard, I'm going to the Plaza Hotel. My little girl is getting married to a neurosurgeon, and he has the whole wedding planned and executed in every detail. I'd hate to ruin her perfect day because the pilots are a little uncomfortable with flying in these conditions. I should be in New York right now, helping with the wedding preparations. Heaven knows I could have been better to her.
How about?
Jack sees him pouring a cup of scotch. He downs it.
My mother is close to the end of her life. My brother sent a letter, and I figured I had to get back soon because I may never get another chance to see her ever again. I decided to open the letter a few moments ago and found out she's still alive. Though she's horribly sick and having a living wake in her own honor. I still have days to get there for it, but after that I have to go back to work. My whole business will crumble and fall. One last chance to say goodbye after I estranged myself from the family because of disagreements.
You came to the airport without fully knowing why?
Yes. Family makes you scared to open a letter and scared not to be with them.
Silence as he gulps down some more.
Now closing. Gate D restrooms for cleaning.
Silence, and Carlisle puts back drink and cup.
What are your names?
Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jackson, but I go by Jax. It's what everyone calls me. How about you?
My name is Salazar Elban.
Oh, nice to meet you. My name is Carlisle Fisher. I own Fisher's Fishing.
You're Carlisle Fisher? I'd never thought I'd meet such a great businessman. You're known for some of the greatest deals of all time.
Yes. Yes, I am.
May not be my place to ask, but what happened with your family?
We had a falling out about who in the family should provide for our mother. I had always planned on moving far away, making a huge business. My dream sounded unachievable. My brother and sister, a lawyer and a doctor, said that I had to. So I outlined how this had been my dream my whole life, and it was actually starting to go somewhere, so I couldn't. They laughed in my face. Instead of listening to them and trying to work something out, I just left. They tried to get me to come back to talk about it, but I refused. It was one of the biggest mistakes, but also one of the biggest reasons for my business's success, because it has expanded to all these new grounds. I had nothing but my business to worry about.
So you could divert all your attention to the business instead of your family. That's a tough lesson to learn. You can't always be there for everyone, and one that has to be learned anyway, no matter where you go.
Yeah. The opposite is also true, though. I learned this because while I've been so successful, I've also been very lonely up in my ivory tower.
Ivory tower?
It means he's using his business to avoid something, a sentiment I'm all too familiar with.
Ah, your family.
Yes. They drive me away with every word they say, but there's only so many roads you go down before you reach the beginning again.
Everyone looks up and listens in slight shock.
Hello, air customers. If you wouldn't mind looking outside of your peripherals for a moment, there's a child on the run. His name is Hayden and his parents' flight is ready to leave. Please try to see if you could possibly find him and send him our way. His parents are worried.
Well,
Gate D restroom's now open.
well,
Clean up, section 5B.
Airport worker walks on stage and crosses. Airport worker walks up.
I'll answer too, even though if it was pointed at him. I met my daughter for the first time 2 times. At birth and when she was 26. When she was 2 years old, I left, ran away. I was just a kid, and I had to take care of a child. And, I ran away, and 24 years later, someone comes to work at my tech company as a secretary from your offices, Carlisle. She has the same way of speaking as me and work ethic. I just assumed that was it, though. When she came into work with an invitation for her wedding and asked me to give her away, I was confused and said, this must be a mistake. And she said, it's been 25 years. Well, it'd been a year since she started working there. And then she then said, since I've seen you and all my life, I thought you were a horrible person for leaving. But after working with you for a year, I've learned you aren't so bad, so I want you to give me away. So here I am, a month and a half later, waiting at an airport, a few hours away from my daughter's wedding, and I cannot get there because some lazy, good-for-nothing, glorified driver can't get off his rear end and fly the plane.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you can at least make it to the reception.
No, a few hours away as in time and not location.
Oh, good. One of those is far better than the other.
I guess we're one and the same then. Ran away from family just for it to pull us back in.
In a way we all do. Trapped here waiting in limbo for something, anything to lead us to our real homes where the heart is.
I have a story.
What's yours?
I came from a long line of handymen who fix all the town's broken tools for a nickel each. Recently, that has stopped being the case, or as recent as slightly before my time. Shop went under in both ways. Most houses in Ireland don't have basements, so we don't know how to work them. Without the money gained from all the tools, we couldn't keep reinforcing it. My childhood home became fill-in for the basement. My family moved into a cabin a wee bit smaller than this here room, and I left to give them more room. Since then, I've been traveling, hitchhiking, hermiteering, looking for a place that'll keep me for good. Ended up going from place to place, because wherever I go, no one can let me stay. But looking for that peaceful place. That place is going to be my wonderful Kennedy. She is perfect. She's as serene as the Highlands of Malaysia and as smart as Sir Isaac Newton. She will be my home.
Sorry to... Oh, no, you.
No, I insist.
Are you absolutely sure?
Sure as a dead man's giving a cigar in a coffin.
Salazar and Carlisle start cracking up as Carlisle pours him a drink.
What even is this?
It's scotch.
Ooh, not much of a scotch guy. Gonna pass.
And there's a scotch for everyone.
That wouldn't hurt. Mind if I gander at the bottle?
Not at all, my friend.
Passes bottle and cup.
You mind if...
Salazar sips the cup and then spits it out. Airport worker comes back as he spits and cleans it during their own line.
Not your thing?
Not my thing.
My thing, though.
My thing, too. Got any left to spare?
The airport worker briefly wipes it up and holds out a triangular paper cup, which Carlisle pours into.
Would you mind pouring something?
ID. Wouldn't want to give alcohol to anyone under 21.
That's good to know. Not everyone looks at me and sees a man who's past copper age. Isn't public intoxication a problem?
Just show me your license.
He pulls it out and shows him. He hands the drink over. He drinks it and looks up.
My God,
What?
storm is gone.
Really?
Really?
Well, that means soon we can all get on our way.
Yes, I've spent far too much time getting tossed around this airport to not be happy at this.
Soon that means we'll be board our planes.
We should celebrate each other and have a toast to all of our fortunes and the fortunes of our upcoming events.
I agree. And it just so happens that I stole 2 ramekins from the airport restaurant.
He passes the other ramekin to Jax, and Carlisle fills both.
Jax, you're the youngest. Why don't you lead us in celebration?
Okay, well, everyone, a toast to Carlisle and better health to his mother.
Drink.
And a toast to Salazar and a good wedding and future to his daughter.
Drink.
And finally, a toast to me and my proposal.
Drink.
Thank you. I have no doubt that the plane will be here soon. I will miss you both.
It was.
All passengers for flight D1, please board.
It was nice.
Oh, the child hasn't been found? We just sent the plane to... We are? Oh, no. Hello, air customers. We really need you to listen to this special announcement. Find Hayden McDaniels and return him to us. I repeat, return him to us. Whoever does this will be rewarded handsomely. Thank you for your help and cooperation.
To get to know.
Clean up in D-Gate restroom.
You were saying?
To get to know you guys, because all my friends are.
I'm going to find the last person who used this toilet and shove them into it without cleaning.
Quite boring and would never do something like this with me. It's good to know there's still happy people like you in a time like this.
I'm glad I met you. Here, both of you take my number. I'll tell you how it went.
I agree. You take mine, Carlisle.
Okay. Maybe I'll see you all some other day, and we could toast to something else.
Both Salazar and Jax walk off, but Carlisle stays. He puts the bottle next to him with the cup, puts the note back in his pocket, and then closes his eyes and leans back. The airport worker comes back on, not looking as angry anymore.
Sir? Sir?
Carlisle wakes up.
Huh? What?
Sir, you cannot have alcohol like that out. Put it away or I'll have to call security.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He puts away the bottle and cup, but wipes the cup first before putting it away. He takes out his phone and calls someone.
Hey, Bill. You'll never guess the wild dream I just had. Old man Sal and Jackson were at the airport sitting with me cheering to the different things they were happy about. Like Jackson was... Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah. Bye.
All passengers, please board flight D3.
Okay. Time to get back to life.
He walks off. End.
Next up, we have In the Same Boat by Natalie Simpkins. Natalie is also a student at Covenant School. This says Claire on it. In the Same Boat by Natalie Simpkins.
It is winter, and 2 sisters are alone in a small boat on a big lake. The older sister is Claire, and the little one is Amelia.
Watch out, Claire! I'm going to cast the line now. You mean cast the line, and you're doing it all wrong. Let me show you, Amelia. How would you know? You've never been fishing either. Well, if you keep leaning back and forth like that, you'll make the boat tip over and we'll both get hypothermia or something from the cold. What's hypothermostat? Never mind. Just give me the rod. Here, take the paddle and don't drop it.
Okay, here's how you...
Claire is leaning back to demonstrate, but she stops when her phone beeps loudly.
One sec.
Ugh, who is it? Is it your boyfriend again? What's his name? Josh? Ooh.
He's not, I don't think he is.
Ugh, what's he want?
Holding back excitement.
He says, "Hey Claire, I know you're busy and it's short notice, but I bought 2 tickets online for that new movie you really wanted to see, Lawnmower 5, and I thought we could go see it together. It starts in an hour. Do you want to?"
You want to see Lawnmower 5?
Well,
Those movies are scary and stupid and...
Okay, fine. I didn't really want to see it, but I knew Josh wanted to see it, so I acted like I wanted to see it, so maybe we'd have something in common.
That's cool, but you can't go. Remember? Mom said you had to spend the day with me. You have to do what I want, and I want you to fish with me.
She shoots Amelia a mean look.
I've spent plenty of time with you already, Amelia, and Mom can't tell me what to do anyways. Here's your fishing rod. Give me the paddle. We're going back.
No!
She clutches the paddle protectively with the iron grip that only a little girl could have.
This is why Mom made us spend the day together. You never spend time with me because you're always trying to spend time with Josh or your other stupid friends.
Amelia, give it!
They yell and fight over the paddle.
Don't go!
She gives her sister a mean look as she throws the hard plastic paddle off the side of the boat. It lands about 5 feet away from the boat and floats lazily. Claire stops yelling and stares in shock for a second. Then she resumes.
Why did you do that?
Now you can't go. You have to stay.
Now we can't go home, Amelia. If we can't get the paddle, we'll be stuck.
She softens a bit as she realizes the gravity of the situation.
Will we get hypothermostat?
It's hypothermia, and we might if we can't get off the lake soon. Oh, you are going to be in such big trouble when we get home.
She picks up some of Amelia's fishing gear and throws it just past the paddle.
Hey, what are you doing? That's my stuff. Give me.
I can't reach the paddle. Maybe if I throw something past it, it'll bob towards us.
That's a stupid idea.
Just hold on a second.
Claire, very focused, continues throwing various objects off the boat, while Amelia watches impatiently.
You're gonna run out of stuff.
Then I'll throw you next.
No!
Fine. What do you think we should do?
Holds up the fishing rod with a big grin, evidently proud of herself.
We could row back with this.
That's not going to get us back.
Then we could hook the shore and reel us back.
Okay, forget I asked. We just really need the paddle.
Don't throw me!
I'm not gonna throw you, Amelia. Here, if you lean over the edge of the boat, I'll hold your coat and you can grab it. Easy peasy.
Okay.
All right, I have you. Just lean a little further.
I can't get... Wait, I got... Ah!
There's a big splash as Amelia accidentally falls into the freezing cold water. The boat nearly tips, but Claire regains her balance and steadies it in the nick of time. She then grabs a flailing Amelia and pulls her back in the boat. Unfortunately, the paddle is now farther away than ever.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Here, get in. Are you okay, Amelia?
Yeah, I'm just cold and scared.
Oh man, now we really have to go. This is all your fault. We never should have come. Fishing in the middle of the winter was stupid in the first place. Then you had to go and throw the paddle and get us really stuck. Plus now you're freezing cold and wet. What is wrong with you?
You're no fun anymore. You always hang out with your friends from school and not me. And when you say you'll hang out with me, you never do because you're expecting a call from Josh.
I'm sorry, okay? I really like him and I think we get along really well, so I want to actually spend time with him.
And I just really wanted to spend time with you, Claire. We always used to play together and pretend to do fun stuff like this, so I wanted to do it again. I miss you.
Oh, guess I never thought of it like that. Guess we're in the same boat, huh?
That was a bad joke.
Sorry. How about this? If you promise to be more considerate when I need to do my own things, promise to make time to play with you when we go home.
Deal.
Great. Now we just need to figure out how to get home.
Can I say my idea?
Sure, go ahead.
Why don't you just call someone to come get us?
Well, Mom's at work and she doesn't have another boat anyway. We need to call someone who has one so they can give us a ride back to the shore.
Who do we know that has a boat?
She sits in silence for a moment, hard in thought. She suddenly gets an idea and shares it with a sly smile.
Does Josh have a boat?
Actually, I think he does. He said that he comes fishing out here in a boat like this one. Amelia, you are a genius. Why didn't I think of that?
Just inspired, I guess.
Claire pulls out her phone and dials Josh's number. He answers.
Hey, Josh. Sorry, I can't come to the movies because I'm fishing with my little sister Amelia at Algid Lake. Yeah, long story short, we lost our paddle, we're completely stuck, and Amelia's freezing cold and wet. Do you think you could come get us? Awesome! Thank you so much. That is so nice of you. See you soon.
They hang up.
He's coming to get us. He says he'll be here really soon.
We're saved. So, what do we do now?
Guess we wait.
I hope he does come real quick, because I'm awfully cold.
Oh, come here.
She scoots toward the middle of the boat, opens her arms, and lets little Amelia sit in her lap. She wraps her arms around her. They sit in silence like this for a moment.
I feel better now.
I'm glad.
But I'm so bored.
We've only waited for a minute. How are you bored already?
It's boring when I'm too cold to fish.
I have an idea. Do you remember what we used to play when you were bored during long car rides?
You mean when we used to make faces at all the old people in the cars behind us and see how long it took for them to notice?
No, not that one.
Yeah, there's no old people around here, so that game would be hard.
I meant I Spy.
Yeah, let's play. Can I go first?
Sure.
Okay. I spy with my little eye something red.
Red? There's nothing red in sight. Everything here is brown.
Do you give up?
I guess I have no choice.
It was the little red lines in my eyeballs, see?
She opens her eyes really wide and puts them right in her sister's face.
I do now. You need to pick something a little easier next time, though. There's no way I could have guessed that.
Fine. Can I try again?
I guess so.
Josh pulls up in his own boat. The sisters do not notice him at first.
I spy with my little eye.
She notices Josh pulling up behind them, but Claire does not.
I spy our knight in shining armor. We're saved.
Huh?
She whips her head around and sees Josh. She turns a bit red.
Hey, girls.
Josh.
Aside Claire.
He wasn't kidding when he said he'd get here really fast. Guess he wanted to see you in a hurry, huh?
Shush! Thank you so much for coming to help us, Josh. I hope it wasn't too much trouble.
Oh, no big deal. Here, I'll hold our boats together and you can take turns coming in.
Oh, me first!
Josh gives her his hand and she climbs into his boat with ease.
Your turn, Claire.
Claire climbs over a bit nervously. She stumbles a little and Josh takes her hand to steady her.
Ah!
It's okay. I have you.
He still has her hand and their eyes meet. They gaze at each other for a moment like a Disney movie. Then they break eye contact a bit awkwardly, but it's kind of cute anyway.
Oh, thanks.
She sits down. Josh starts to paddle back to shore, and she pulls her boat along with them.
So, you guys were fishing, right?
Yeah, it would have been a lot more fun if we hadn't lost our paddle, though.
You know, I come here fishing too sometime. Maybe we could, I don't know, come fishing together?
Really? Yeah, we should definitely do that sometime. Together.
Yay! I'm not gonna get hypothermostat after all!
She sneezes loudly and shivers.
Oh.
The end.
Lastly, in our student block, we have Hot and Cold by another Alchemy alumni, Marley Dixon from Chesapeake High School. For those that don't know, Marley has also written a novel. There's so many things.
Buy it on Amazon, Doc.
Buy it when you buy your copy of The Dragon Ruby.
Wait, that was.
Like hobby.
But you can no longer buy.
That's still in print?
It is not.
Okay.
Cut across the other way. But the videographer good to get this one? Hey.
Change your shirt when you come back.
Hot and Cold by Marley Dixon. Cast of characters: Jake, Kimmy's husband and stay-at-home father to their son. Kimmy, Jake's wife and workaholic to provide for their son. Chris, neighbor who lives down the hall.
Jake, I'm home.
Yeah, and you're late.
I know.
I know you're busy, but you come home late all the time.
I'm really sorry, Jake. I just can't get away from my work. I won't be late tomorrow night. I promise.
That's what you said last night. And the night before that.
Jake.
And the night before that. You keep breaking your promises to me, Kim. It's getting really old. And you know, I can't stand it when people break their word.
I'm really busy at work right now, and I can't help that. People keep ordering more and more candles. Do you have any idea how hard it is to make candles, Jake?
It can't be hard enough to keep you away from your family 24/7.
I am not gone that much, and it is very hard to make candles.
Kim, do you know how embarrassing it is to turn down going to dinner with friends because you're making candles?
Oh, so you're embarrassed of me?
That's not what I mean, and you know it.
Okay, let's just calm down and take a breath.
Fine.
What's that smell?
You probably smell all those essential oils from your candles.
No, I smell smoke.
Oh, crap.
What did you do?
I tried to make us a nice dinner, but I guess I didn't hear the timer.
Classic Jake.
Excuse me?
You heard me. I swear, you never listen to anything that matters anymore. You could have set this whole apartment on fire.
Don't you dare. I probably didn't hear it over your stupid excuses about your business.
Are you insinuating that my business isn't real?
No, I'm saying it isn't real. You make candles for an Etsy shop.
You have always hated my shop, and whoever is banging on our door needs to stop. This is a private argument.
Because it's a fake job that keeps you away from the important things in life, like our son.
How dare you say that to me? I love and care for our son. I'm the one that provides for him with my business.
Really? I saw you write an email to someone saying you could work overtime on their order because you don't have any kids, that you only had a stupid cat. How could you talk about our son like that?
That is completely out of context.
Is it though?
I can't believe you went through my computer.
I can't believe you don't care for Mr. Pickles. You aren't even paying attention right now.
I am paying attention. I'm just opening this window to cool down. You know I love our son. I'm the one that got him from the animal shelter. I'm the one who buys him his sweaters with the money that I earn with my real business.
Again, whoever is knocking on our door needs to stay out of this.
You don't even work. I'm the sole provider.
I take care of Mr. Pickles. All day. I'm the one who gives him his hourly medicine. You've never even given him his insulin shots.
I don't like needles.
Mr. Pickles is 12 years old and he will remember that you didn't give him his meds when he is in cat heaven. I will be remembered as the loving parent.
Mr. Pickles knows I love him. Don't you, my little lord?
Our little lord is getting stressed from our excessive fighting. You can see the sweat on his skin.
He sweats constantly. He's a Sphinx cat.
Open the door!
Who are you and why do you keep pounding on our door?
I live down the hall and the building is on fire.
No, it's not. We would have heard the alarm.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. The fire alarms aren't working. Why else do you think the building is hot and smoky?
Oh.
Blackout.
If our authors would come to the stage. Authors got Natalie and Marley and Nick. Come on down.
What do you mean? I mean, me.
That was great. Like, I can't. The stories are so different, and everybody's telling their story. It's pretty great. Let's jump right into Storm at the Airport. Nick's been working on this for a minute. You plan on expanding this to one act, right? Or are you gonna you're abandoning it? You're gonna. He has a note to the readers. This is what's it? Who has it pulled up? It's like, please excuse this mess. I'm going to make it better later and longer. And so, this is different than every piece you've ever written so far. The first one was ridiculously silly. The one last year was about wartime, about young men off at war, and a general or a lieutenant that dealt with that later in life. Tell us about this story.
Well, I saw that I had this really silly one and I had this really sad one, and I wanted to find a nice middle ground, but I've been dealing with a lot of writer's block, like for a long time, so I couldn't get it, and I got something together that I thought was pretty solid, so I just went with that, and that's what I had.
Okay.
And then you said all the different requirements, so I had to write something completely different.
Who has Josh? What do you have?
I loved this piece because Nick, have known you for about 5 years now, and it is the most like you ever. Because I can literally see you playing every single character. I know you wrote it. And if I hadn't known that you wrote it, I still would have known that you wrote it. And I love a piece that can connect to its author.
Let's take a second and compliment Chuck on that accent.
Thank you.
Because reading those words on the paper without the accent is, you have no idea what he's talking about. And I still have no idea what he's talking about most of the time. But it's cool because it's
He's eaten a lot of Lucky Charms in his life.
Who else? What else you have? Yeah.
I want it expanded because I want to know what Salazar and Jax meant to Carlisle.
Yeah, I'm curious about
that. Yeah, you ended too soon.
Yeah. So there's this big workplace, and there's these people who have worked with Carlisle, and Carlisle isn't this huge executive. He's just a guy working there, and I didn't really think to portray that through the end, but I just thought, like, to make that subtle mention. He knows them, and just enough to mention them, but not like this huge thing. If someone were to say, oh, well, I have this going on, I can't talk to you, he wouldn't go like, well, wait, hold on. Just kind of like a passing remark.
For my money, and I talked to Mike about this earlier this week, for my money, I would have not done the switch at the end because I liked all three of those characters so much. I want them to be real in the world that you wrote them in.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's anybody else like that? I mean, you can agree with him, but to me, because you did that last year too. Like he's got a thing that he does. He's got a writing thing that he does. He has a thing he twists it at the end. And for my money, I want all three of those characters to be real in the moment that they're, because we keep talking about telling your own story, and those three guys got to tell their own story. And I think those connect to different people. Like each one of those are like, oh, I get the guy that's too busy for his daughter. Oh, I get the guy who's had a fight with his family. I get the guy who's madly in love with the girl that he met in an airport. You know, but that's me. Like,
no, I agree.
Who else? What else you have? Yeah.
The
Sister beat him up.
the guy that Mike played, it felt like you were really connected to that because he had so much going on with him, and also I would like to note that it was 2 brothers and 1 sister, and I just thought that should, because that's our family. So.
Right about what you know about.
The thing about the mother, she wrote something for her own like living wage. I thought that was really interesting.
Hey, play off personal experience,
Who else? Yeah, there you go.
I absolutely loved Airport Worker. That was like,
We talked about that. How fun was that?
It honestly wasn't a needed character, but it added such a perfect comedic touch to the
Actually, I like to write in disruptions. I think the disruptions are great. Like, it's great.
Well, it's funny because I heard Nick behind me when they read your first piece that had the interruptions in the big box store, and he was like, "Oh, we did the same thing." Like it's a little different, but it's close.
Spoilers, more coming. Let's jump to Natalie's piece. Thank you for being here. That was I was in the same boat. So it was great. I knew those characters, right? To me, the jokes that land because you care about the characters. Like if you don't care about the characters, who cares? Especially the way you wrote the comedy, because they're great characters. What do you guys have? Comments, questions?
Acting was awesome.
Good job, you two.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it as the people who performed it?
I thought it ran really well for a comedic piece. I've done a few, and I thought it went really well. The beats were right on it. Yeah, I thought the beats were right there, and everything flowed. There wasn't a point where it was there wasn't any dead period. Everything, it was kind of kept on your feet a little bit, like the twist of Josh having a boat all of a sudden. Like I really enjoyed that and how you were able to tie that in, especially in a place like a lake. It's like anything could happen. Like the way you set it, I really thought it was cool.
That "I'm bored" line is one of my favorite. The little girl, "I'm bored." She's been there 5 seconds. Yeah, Josh.
First of all, I really like the guy character's name. I think it's a really good name. But I also really love the relationship that you wrote in between the two sisters, because I've got a little brother that is just like that, the most annoying person in the world. But he is so annoying that you have to love him. And you love him and you hate him at the same time. Watching it, I was like, yeah, that's me and Timothy all day, except I would totally throw him off the boat.
So, you have sisters.
I do have 2 younger sisters.
They're both younger?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I took a lot of the things that the younger sister does is exactly what my little sister does.
So how old did you see the sisters? Because we play with what we have, but how did you expect the sisters to be?
In my mind, I had Claire being roughly my age,
Okay.
and then I had the younger one being Gracie's age over there.
Write about what you know about.
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you bring in a humorous line, like the hypothermostat, but people aren't listening and it kind of goes by and you brought it back just enough times. Too many and it would have been good, but he brought it back just enough times that then, now I hear what she was saying, hypothermostat. I think it was a great balance, and that's a great skill.
Did we hit 3 times? Was it 3 times?
I think so. Yeah. 3.
We didn't do t-shirt then.
Yeah, that's the rule of 3 in comedy, right? So you do things. You can do things 3 times. If you do things more than 3 or less than 3, that doesn't work as well. And that's the general rule. What I really liked too is that you did a really nice thing by encapsulating the title of your piece in a joke in the piece itself, and then comment about how you didn't like the joke. It's stuff I do all the time. And
Yes, he does.
I love that. I love commenting on my own stuff, and as long as it still works in the world of what we're talking about, I thought it was very clever. It was very nice. It was a very nice one.
Well, I was going to say, we've already established that you took from your own life and wrote a really good child character, really kind of convincing how a child would sound, which you took out from their life. I wanted to say that I forgot that you were not a small child. So good for you.
A testament to it is I was sitting there trying to figure out, how am I going to stage this? Because that's the question, right? When you have water on stage is always a problem. So that's interesting. I'm like that you do it, but I like the piece well enough that I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to make that kid fall in the water? And that, as a technical director, that's
Life of Pi is a national theater. It's just LED floors. Just spend the money.
Is that in the budget?
You can donate to Alchemy Theaters, you can.
No, it was great. Last up in the student block, we have Marley Dixon, who wrote Hot and Cold. The one comment that I had, and I've told everybody this week that's listened to me, that I need more of it. I like it so much that I just want more. Who else? What do you have? Yeah.
A couple of things. I really like the realism like when I write, I try to think what is the most realistic thing that this person could say. And when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I've heard this conversation before. Oh, I've been in this conversation before. And that is exactly how it goes. And I love the realism. But a couple of ways to add on to it is first, like to have Chris explain, here's why the smoke detectors aren't going off. Or maybe you guys are just so loud that you guys aren't hearing them. Or maybe like find some other small details about their lives you could expand on to really delve deeper into characters' backgrounds.
I love Mr. Pickles.
And what
Perfect name.
that proves too is that you can write with a twist, and the twist doesn't have to be some complete play-changing, play-breaking thing. It's people they think you're talking about a kid, and you're absolutely not talking about a kid. You're talking about a cat. Like that's that's such a nice juxtaposition that proves that you don't have to M. Night Shyamalan everything.
It's we talked about disruptors a little bit with the voices, that it's a disruptor. We think that they're talking about their actual child. And then what's it do? It pulls the audience back in every time. Okay, now I want to hear about this. You did the same thing with the business. Oh, you're saying my Etsy candle business is not a real business. Like, and if you can, the longer you can save that, I think the more payoff you get with it. Like, let the argument be real. Let the care for the child be real. Let all of the things be real. Like the temperature. I would have even gotten more into how hot it's getting in here. Because
which is a great metaphor for all of that.
Yeah, the metaphor is great, and let that play.
The house is literally on fire as they're sort of this crackling fire dialogue between them.
I think if you knew somebody that could shoot it, that would be a really cool film.
If only you had somebody like that in your family.
Bethany.
Said something about a novel.
What you did mention.
What is that called if it has a
So for last year in my creative writing class, which was taught by Hannah Lands, we all got to write different short stories to put in. You all can get it on Amazon.
Yay.
Writer's block, and it's everyone's stories in it. Mine was the longest because I just had so much I wanted to put in. It's called What We Do After Dark, and it's witchcraft and stuff.
Ooh, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Writer's block, Amazon.com.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that, like, especially reading it and getting to say the lines out loud, I appreciate that this argument is clearly meant for people who are probably not teenagers. These are adults having this conversation. I appreciate that the dialogue did not sound juvenile. Like, it definitely sounded like an argument you would have with a significant other and be like, I am tired of talking about this with you, right? It just had that feel to it. So I appreciate that. That was very good.
And nice job again to the actors for all those pieces.
Oh, yeah.
These guys can have a seat. Mike and I are going to act like we're talking for about 30 seconds because we're getting ready to announce the Curator's Choice Award for the student plays.
Quick shout out to Todd.
Yeah, and Todd,
Yeah. Which, by the way, we should say, you will be able to see all of these pieces again. They'll be on YouTube, so you can send them out to your family members and people that couldn't be here this whole weekend. It'll all be available on our YouTube channel, the Alchemy Theater YouTube channel, eventually. Right, Todd?
All right, you guys take a seat.
Okay.
While they're talking in a corner, I just want to remind everybody in the room that Marshall has a fabulous creative writing program. We have a BFA in film, that's new. One of the classes is screenwriting, and there's also there's a whole major in theater. So all these high school kids, there's a whole
And some of those screenwriter kids from that class will be here tomorrow with their shows.
with their professor, Angel D.
Yep. One thing that we do every year, and this is the third time that we've done it, we like to award a Curator's Choice Award, and with that award, you win a free season pass to all of Alchemy's shows for the entire year. This is the biggest year that we have ever had. 9 shows that you'll be able to come to.
Yeah, this award matters more now than it ever
has. And it is a 3 weeks, in 3 weeks, Charlie Brown, so you get to come. This is a retail value of over $160, so Congratulations to the winner of this. Plus, you get this fancy lanyard. Mostly it's because we want you to keep coming back and keep writing for us because we need Mike Murdock to retire. And the winner of this year's Curator's Choice Award is Audrey Stoll.
Small real credit for McKenton.
If you haven't done it, make sure you take pictures out front. This is probably the last show that you'll be able to see the banner that is out there because we're replacing it with our new season. So next up is two plays by Mike and myself. A little history on mine is I wrote it for last year with the prompt, and we ran out of time to do it because we were in a really tiny room with a lot of pieces. So we brought it back for this year. It is called, write about what you know about, right? Dinner for Two. I like food a lot. So Dinner for Two will come on down. I'll get your name and we'll get things on.
I'll preempt mine by also saying, after his piece is over, mine has a couple sex jokes in it. Just want everybody to know. That's a high five for the Covenant folks. No cusses though.
Everybody be pretty impressed that I didn't write with cusses.
Used to know where the end of this tape was. Chuck will be playing the character of Kimmy.
Can I get a horse? I still have mine.
And this will be, Hannah will be playing a horse.
Somebody's changed it.
I had to change the spelling on this name because I was told that spelling it the way Shakespeare spelled it was incorrect. So I have spelled the correct way now.
Are you still Chris or just stage directions?
You can be Chris.
Chris, the stage director. All right, Dinner for Two by Stephen Vance. The cast of characters, we have Juliet, an adult female, and Will, adult male, possibly Juliet's best friend. The scene is Juliet's apartment. It's early evening. Lights up on Will, plating dinner and turning down the radio. Juliet is plugging her phone in, checking to see if any messages have arrived since it has been dead.
Jules, dinner's ready. Everything okay?
Will starts to light a candle, but stops as Juliet enters, a little upset, and crosses into the kitchen to sit down at the bar.
It'll be fine, but Jake has been blowing me up, and my mom just texted and she said, what?
Sometimes I almost forget how pretty you are.
Stop. Listen, I think you're just trying to seduce me, Mr. Robinson.
I'm always just trying to seduce you.
Wait, Will, where's your plate?
I can't stay. Dan's walking over. His car wouldn't start, and I said I'd give him a ride to work.
Why didn't you just tell me that earlier? I could have just picked something up on the way home.
Because I like cooking for you, and I wouldn't have gotten to see you at all before I left town if I hadn't come over.
Ridiculous. You didn't have to do that.
It was all very selfish, trust me. Besides, I promise I like being called ridiculous.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Will makes a move to finish up the last of the dishes he's used preparing the meal.
At least let me do the dishes. I feel terrible. You cook and you clean up after, and all I do is eat and complain about Jake.
It's fine. This is the last thing. You were saying about your mom.
She texted and said she's found someone I should talk to.
Like a psychologist?
No.
She smacks him.
Well, yes, she's trying to set me up on a blind date, and he's literally a therapist.
Ooh, interesting.
Not really. Well, maybe. She says he's really handsome and a gentleman, and it would be nice to go out someplace nice and be treated like a lady. I assume psychologists only eat in fancy places.
Come on, you and Jake used to go out all the time to Applebee's on weeknights during happy hour.
Nothing says romance like half-price appetizers and Little League World Series playing on 10 TVs in 4K.
Don't forget the NASCAR replays.
Oh, I still swoon just thinking about it.
Finishing up a bite.
This is really good. Have I had it before?
I don't think so. At least I haven't made it. I just got the recipe from my sister's neighbor, June. She made it for them a couple of weeks ago, and it was a hit.
Is that bechamel sauce?
It is. Very astute. The neighbor studied at Le Cordon Bleu back in the 70s, and if she wasn't 85 years old and married, we'd be in love.
Well, I love it. Thank your sister's neighbor for me.
Taking another bite.
I will. So, Jake's playing the Crazy Ex again. You've got a date with Sigmund Freud, and...
We aren't talking about Jake anymore. I'm exhausted. I really thought he was the one until he wasn't. He seemed perfect for so long, and once it fell apart, I couldn't let it go. Did I tell you what he said to me the other day?
I don't think so, but as long as we aren't talking about Jake anymore...
Listen to this. He said he never, not once, found me attractive.
Wait, what? Like, ever? That doesn't even make sense.
He said that when we met, he thought I was okay, but never, get this, never thought of me more than like a 6.
He actually said that? Out loud?
Yeah, and that's not all. He said he was hoping my personality would make up for it, and it never panned out.
Well, he's obviously an idiot.
2 years, Will. 2 years I watched sports of teams I didn't care about. 2 years I spent wondering what our kids would be like. 2 years with the guy who thinks...
Picking up her napkin to wipe away tears, and Will reaching for her hand.
Jules, stop. He's obviously just trying to get to you because he knows you're happier and better off without him, and he can't stand it.
You know, you're right. It just hurts. He always knows what to say to ruin my day, and then minutes later he sends me a text asking me out this weekend, and I can't. Seriously, I'm done. No more Jake. Well, enough. Tell me about your trip. What time are you leaving?
I head out in the morning at about 7. The flight is direct, so I'll be there at about 9:30 Pacific time.
Diving back into the food.
And will you work the whole time you're there?
Not the whole time. I have the evenings and weekends to do whatever, so I've already got a list of restaurants and a couple of museums I'm going to see. If I get a chance, I'm going to just drive down the coast one day and stop wherever looks interesting.
Are you excited?
I guess. I love getting out of town, but it gets a little lonely traveling alone. And I'll miss coming over for our Thursday dinners for the next few weeks.
I'll miss it too. Maybe I'll just fast the whole time you're gone, or better yet, I'll head over to your sister's neighbor's house for dinner every night. What's her name? Judy?
June, and listen, no cutting in on my elderly lady friends.
Fine. But you know she'd like me better.
Yes, I do. That's why I said no cutting in.
Will's phone buzzes.
Something important?
It's just Dan. He said he's walking over now. He'll be there in a couple minutes.
Will starts to grab his coat, keys, and other things he brought with him.
Make him a plate. You know, the night shift has terrible food options.
Dan doesn't care. He wants to eat Taco Bell every night for 3 straight weeks.
Thanks.
I don't think he got much done for 3 straight weeks, but still.
I can't imagine.
I wish you were going with me. It'd be boring days, but we could explore together at night.
I'd love to go sometime. I Googled it when you said you were going, and it looks like a dream. Do you believe I've never been to the West Coast? I just know what I've seen on TV.
I think you'd love it. There's a used bookshop built into an old train station, and on Sundays they play old films and make fresh kettle corn. Mostly film noir, but I think they play...
Will, can I ask you something?
Juliet hands him her mostly empty plate.
Sure, Jules, shoot.
We've known each other, how long? 4, 5 years?
Closer to 5, but yeah. I put dessert in the fridge, by the way.
Thanks. I'm stuffed right now, but that wasn't the question, though.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
In those 5 years, why didn't you ever ask me out?
Seriously? Well, for a couple of those years, obviously, you were occupied with Jake.
Yeah, sure, but what about the other times?
Jules, we've been out dozens of times, and we've been doing Thursdays off and on for a while now.
That's not what I mean. I mean, why haven't you asked me out on a date? A date?
Honestly?
Honestly.
I assumed you'd say no, and I didn't want to risk what we had by taking that chance. You're the smartest, prettiest person I've ever met, and I adore every minute we have together. I've never found someone easier to talk to. And not just about frivolous stuff, but the important things too. I didn't want to screw that up by making it weird. Your friendship means the world to me. I don't ever want to lose that.
Will's phone starts ringing.
It means the world to me too.
Phone keeps ringing.
I love you, Will.
I love you too, Jules.
Phone keeps ringing.
Sorry. Hey, yeah. I'll be out in a sec.
Hangs up.
I'm gonna miss you, Will. Have a safe trip, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll miss you too. I left extra in the fridge next to the dessert. I'll text you when I take off and when I land.
As he puts his coat on, he looks at her much the way he did at the beginning.
I really do wish you were going with me.
Ask me.
What?
Ask me to go with you.
She smiles the same way she did at the beginning. Blackout.
Next up, we have a one-act play by Alchemy's own Mike Murdock. I'll let you preface a little bit more if you want while I'm doing the thing.
It's a play about finding love in all the wrong places. I don't know where you're putting other just put people.
Dawn, Victor.
Where are the names? You put names up?
These two are direct. Yeah.
Another navigator.
I'll be playing the role of horse in this show.
Right.
Stilling Romance, a one-act comedy by T. Michael Murdock. 6th draft. Natalie, a young woman, works alone in a video game and pop culture store called Games R Us. It's almost closing time on a Friday night and there's a terrible thunderstorm raging outside. The store has no customers. She is frustrated.
You're the new girl, Natalie. We need you to work the late shift Friday and do inventory. We'll be out dancing and drinking and having fun, but you're going to be stuck here, talking to yourself all night. We know there won't be any customers and you'll be by yourself in a bad neighborhood, but that's what happens when you're part of the Games R Us team. Best of luck. I hate this job.
Directly on the heels of her finishing the monologue, a man walks in wearing a ski mask and carrying a gun. The man is Mark, and he's never done this sort of thing before.
I know you're busy chatting to yourself, but could you please turn around and put your back to the counter and put your hands up?
Oh, this is super.
Natalie turns around, backs up to the counter, and puts her hands up.
Empty the register.
You're dripping on the floor.
What?
You're dripping on the floor, Showcase. It's dangerous. Somebody might slip and fall.
It's raining outside. Hard.
So go somewhere else.
What?
I don't get paid nearly enough to deal with this crap, let alone if somebody comes in here and breaks a leg.
So just do what I said and I'll leave.
Do what?
Empty the register.
How can I do that with my back to it and my hands up?
Oh, for God's sake.
Can I put my hands down?
Fine, yes.
Can I turn around?
Yes, just give me the money.
Still not turning.
You're aware that we only have $50 in the drawer after 11 p.m., right?
What?
But do I have a lisp or something? You sure ask what a lot. Do you need to turn up a hearing aid or?
What?
Perfect. Thanks for clearing that up.
What do you mean only $50 after 11 p.m.?
It's one of those things that businesses do to stop people like you from robbing them late at night when there aren't any customers in the store.
There's no sign on the door.
What do you mean?
There's no sign on the door saying that the store only has $50 in cash after 11 p.m.
So?
It just would have been a nice courtesy.
What's wrong with you?
What?
Why should the store be courteous to burglars?
I'm just saying some stores have signs like that, and it's nice.
Sorry to let you down, burglar.
Be smug all you want, but if you had had that sign up there, I wouldn't have come in here, so.
Or are you blaming me for you being a burglar?
Of this store? Yes. Look, I need more than $50.
Tough love.
Well, maybe I'll just take some games then.
For your personal collection, or are you gonna hawk them later out of the trunk of your car?
What?
You've got to stop saying that.
Well, I bet I could sell Xbox games with no problem.
To whom? Are you going to sell them in the Games R Us cases, or are you going to spend the next 6 hours matching discs to display boxes? Because even the used stuff isn't in the boxes, smart guy. But either way, it all sounds crazy fun.
Can we please just start with the $50, please?
You can take some stickers and candy with you too, make a whole night of it.
Please just empty the register.
You can take some M&Ms, hot tamales, oh, and some junior mints. Don't forget those. Hope you know a good dentist.
I totally have a gun! Can I just get the money, please?
It's mostly 1s and 5s. Hope that's not a problem.
Whatever, it's fine. It's all mountains and molehills at this point.
Seemingly caught off guard by that statement.
Excuse me?
Your excuse.
No. What did you just say?
I said it was fine.
No, you said something else. Some euphemism or something. I don't think it made sense.
I said it's all mountains and...
And molehills. Oh, God. I'm turning around.
Natalie turns and they see each other for the first time, although Mark still has ski mask on.
Oh, no.
Take your mask off.
What?
If you say that again, I'm going to throw the register through the front window and we're both going to jail.
I can't.
Take your mask off. Right now.
Why would I ever do that?
There are cameras. It doesn't matter. Just take it off. Now.
I see cameras.
They're fake. They just put them up there to fool people so no one robs us.
Didn't work.
Still deflecting.
No money in the register. Fake cameras everywhere. What's the point of being so careful if there's nothing to steal?
Don't ask me. I hate this place.
Well, me too. Now.
Take it off.
Why?
Because I asked you to.
Not good enough.
Please?
I can't do that. You don't understand.
I'm asking you nicely.
I know you are, and I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
Natalie comes around from behind the counter and stands in front of Mark.
Listen, you aren't going to shoot me. You don't seem like a terrible villain. You're obviously not the typical run-of-the-mill robber. Just take off your mask and let's talk like grown-ups. What do you say?
Natalie, I can't.
You know my name. How do you know my name?
Name tag.
Pointing to her lack of name tag.
Do you see a name tag?
I've been casing the joint for weeks.
No, you haven't.
I researched it online.
I've only been working here 4 days.
I'm stalking you?
Take off the mask.
Seriously, I've been following you around for weeks. No, months. Your favorite band is In Excess. You love to eat spinach Hot Pockets. Your favorite book is 1984, and your favorite movie is The Princess Bride.
What kind of car do I drive? Simple question.
It's
Yeah?
It's
You must have been following me for months. You must know what kind of car I drive. Out with it, Jack the Ripper.
It's a red Ford Probe.
Wrong. I haven't had a car since last year. I drove a red Ford Probe in high school. Take off the mask, Mark Cassidy.
Crap.
I know, right?
Crap.
You are so busted. I knew it was you. You used to say that mountains and molehills thing all the time. You haven't changed a bit. Now lose the mask.
Really, kid, just...
Take it off, Mark. I think we have some catching up to do.
Lightning crashes loudly outside and the lights flicker. They both look around.
Oh, come on.
Still scared of lightning?
Yes.
Relax. I'll protect you.
I have a gun.
Can't shoot electricity with bullets, Mark. They reflect back at you. True story.
Natalie, I'm...
Not stalking me, I know. And you didn't expect your poor video game store clerk victim to be the girl you ate school lunches with for 13 years. I know. Weird. I just got back to town 3 weeks ago.
I can't believe this is happening.
And on such a pleasant evening, too.
The thunder crashes again, causing the lights to flicker. The generator seems to kick on and off.
I can't handle this.
I'm gonna ask you one more time to take off that stupid mask, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna walk over and tear it off your head with extreme prejudice. Do we have an understanding?
This can't be happening.
Do it!
Mark takes off the mask and they see each other face to face for the first time since high school.
I'm sorry.
You should be. Some scary stuff you were trying to pull. Taking advantage of a defenseless young creature like myself, and with a firearm. How dare you?
It's not real.
Come again?
It's not real. It's the last of a line from Walmart that looked real before they started painting them orange so cops don't kill little kids for carrying them around.
Well, you lucked out. Looks real.
Shoots little yellow beads.
Do they hurt?
Not really.
Well, that's effective.
Well, I didn't plan on shooting you.
Oh, how nice.
I mean, shooting anyone.
Right.
I've never done this before.
But you seem so good at it.
Don't be mean.
Hey, you came in here, pointed a bead gun at me.
Sorry.
Why are you robbing a video game store, Mark? That's insane.
I just thought I could get some extra cash and get out of town. I've been trying to save up, but my job doesn't pay enough to even take care of my bills, and I just wanted to pack up my stuff and leave.
I feel that, but still.
I felt like I was out of options.
Weren't. This was a particularly terrible one.
I know that now.
Where are you gonna go?
Away. I don't know. Anywhere but here. I can't be stifled by this place anymore.
Well, it was a great idea to make sure your last hurrah in this town was robbing a video game store at bead gun point.
Can we just say gunpoint?
No, we cannot. It's not a real gun.
Lightning crashes again. The lights go all the way out. After a few moments, the backup lights come on. Everything is dimmer and orange now. The doors to the video game store make an obnoxious crunching sound.
What was that?
Oh boy.
What?
Walking over to the doors.
I think tonight's adventure is gonna keep going for a while.
I'm not sure I'd call this an adventure.
Examining the doors and punching things into the keypad.
Better than my usual Friday nights.
Are you gonna fill me in, or?
Trying to push the doors open, they don't budge.
Oh, sorry. I buried the lead. We're locked in.
What?
You know how sometimes doors lock? Use your imagination to think about these doors doing that exact thing. We're locked in. This place has electrical locks that secure all the doors. We passcode it when we open and when we leave. I think the storm must have screwed something up because it's not working.
You gotta be kidding.
Hardly.
How do we get out?
Short of busting triple pane glass, we don't. Let me try to call.
She picks up the phone.
Phones are out too. Everything ran through the same system.
Use your cell phone.
I don't have one.
What?
I swear to God.
Who doesn't have a cell phone?
I don't. I just got back into town. I told you I got rid of my old phone and just haven't gotten around to getting a new one yet.
It's the 21st century.
Use your cell phone.
I don't have one. I was robbing a place, not ordering a pizza. I didn't want them to weigh my pants down.
I'm really sorry that your video game store robbing pants can't handle having a cell phone in them, but we're stuck. It'll be fine. Power will come back on in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Mark walks over to the store window and looks out. The city is in complete darkness.
Wow. The whole city looks blacked out. It's so dark out there. Everything is so quiet.
Natalie walks over beside him and has a look herself.
Wow. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. It really is.
You know, I really missed you, Mark.
Mark takes this in for a moment and smiles. They share a very tender moment, right before Natalie starts to shout.
Oh my God, is that Victor?
Who is Victor?
And who is that monster with him?
Victor has a monster?
Natalie points off stage to where there must be two people walking toward the front doors of the store.
Why are they coming here?
Wait, what?
Oh, this isn't good.
Who is Victor?
This is going to end in blood and tears.
Victor!
Victor, he's my ex-fiancé. Kind of. And it appears that he's about to come in here, show off his new arm candy.
Ex-fiance?
Kind of. Long story. Look, it's no big deal. Victor is a jerk. He was a cop for a while, and he got kicked off the force for beating up some guy he was giving a parking ticket to.
He's a cop!
Ex-cop?
Like ex-fiance?
Kind of.
Well, they can't get in, right? I mean, the doors are locked, right?
That's a good point.
Waving through the window.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Victor's monster.
Don't taunt him.
He can't hear us. Remember? Triple pane glass.
Still waving.
What is she, 15? She looks 15. Glad you found a nice 15-year-old monster to make yourself feel better after I dumped your sorry.
Oh, I'm glad. I hope that he can't read lips.
Hope you drown out there, you worm. You belly-crawling worm! I'm sure your little monster is out past her curfew. Good night!
With that, the lights suddenly come back on, the generators restart, and the doors obnoxiously unlock. Victor swings open the door, leaving his female companion, Dawn, out in the rain. He enters, angry, carrying a briefcase.
Oh, yeah. This just got raw.
What?
Thanks for saving me the trouble of asking this time.
Don't mention it. Victor, what are you doing here?
Coming in out of the rain. What are you doing in my video game store?
Oh, great.
You own a video game store?
No, dim bulb. It's the store I always go to, but this broad has never been here before. She's an ex.
Oh, I work here, Victor. Not for long now.
Glad you finally lived up to your potential. And I'm glad you finally let me in the door. I could have drowned.
Me too.
Too bad.
Who are you, smart guy?
He's my lover.
What? Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah? Well, this broad is my lover.
Victor pulls Dawn to him roughly and kisses her sloppily on the mouth.
See, we're in love.
Lovers in love.
And the others run away.
What's that?
What?
It's a Lisa Loeb song called Stay.
Oh, well, listen to you, little Ryan Seabiscuit. You're the frickin' queen of popular music now? Let me call up the Jimmy Fallons and we can do lunch.
It's an old song.
Good thing you look like a porn star because your taste in music sucks.
Charming.
And erotic.
I know. Natalie looks like one too. You don't have to remind me. God, I remember that time in Vegas.
Oh, Victor, don't.
March 15th last year, I went on business and gave Natalie the pleasure. She rocked me like the Kardashians rock plastic surgery.
She always was a rocker.
Victor, get out of here. I'm not going to sell you anything anyway. We're currently sold out of Pokemon.
She's a rocker!
Pokemon.
Screw you, Natalie. You too, Dawn. Have you caught them all, Dr. Genius?
What did I ever see in you?
Beautifulness. Oh, and this.
Victor flips the briefcase he was carrying onto the table and pops it open, revealing a massive amount of cash.
Holy.
That's right, sloppy seconds.
Victor.
Where did that come from?
I'm a businessman.
You're a drug dealer.
Love it.
So you're wandering around in a thunderstorm carrying around several $1,000?
100,000 if we're slinging truths, Junior.
Carrying around $100,000 with your new girlfriend, and you decide to buy a video game?
Seems like you could have afforded dinner.
Lose some weight.
Screw you, businessman.
Let's all calm down.
I mean, you're kind of tubby.
I am my ideal weight, you Neanderthal.
Ooh. Is this what he meant by things getting raw?
I do believe it is.
I feel like I should do something.
Like what? Like make yourself big and defend her honor?
Maybe.
Ideal weight? Are you sure they didn't leave off a zero, you heifer?
I will cut out your tongue with a rusty knife if you keep running your mouth like that. I swear to God.
And then what? Eat it? Did you bring gravy with you? Tons of fun?
Seriously, this is getting embarrassing. Can we be civil?
Screw that. I'm leaving.
Imagine that.
Dawn heads out, pushes the pull door, rattles it several times, finally figures out after a few seconds, and exits.
Oh, come on! Get back here, I bought wine!
Don turns, flips him off, and walks into the storm.
This is your fault.
Mine?
She was jealous that we used to be a big thing.
Hardly big.
One thing too many.
Come on.
She loved me.
I know you're busy being the worst person in the world, but you do know Dawn isn't fat, right? Like, you're not some kind of reverse body dysmorphia projectionist, are you? You don't look at other people and legitimately see them as fatter than they really are, do you? Because that's messed up.
I know she's not fat, but that's how she has to learn to not sass me.
Ow. Sass? Really?
His vocabulary is very turn-of-the-century rural. Did I tell you, another one of his charms.
Oh, I can see why you fell for him.
God.
Did he woo you with his blatant disregard for other people, or did he win you with his pleasant aroma of brute and vomit? I'm curious.
Chicks dig me, man.
No, Vic, maybe that's why you can't keep a woman. She's obviously smarter than you are, and yet all you do is belittle her, just like you do everyone else. Basically, because everyone is smarter than you.
If she's so smart, why is she outside when it's raining like that?
Smart enough to walk out on you.
Regardless of weather conditions?
Natalie and Mark both eye the briefcase full of money as Victor turns to go out the door. They glance at each other, and Victor stops and turns back around.
Think what you want. When I get back, we're settling this.
Victor heads to the door, and there's a huge crack of lightning. The same thing happens as before. The lights go out, the orange lights come up, and the doors auto-lock, leaving the three of them trapped together.
What in Grant's tomb was that?
Crap.
We're so very, very close.
That sucks.
That's what I was thinking.
You don't even know her, Slim.
He means the situation.
Whatever. What's the frickin' deal?
When the power goes off, we're locked in.
Super.
It was. There were only two of us.
Well, at least that nut job can't get back in.
The silver lining of hate. My favorite.
So, now that it's just us, all cozy like, what's the frickin' deal?
What deal are you talking about now?
You dumped me for this clown? Really?
You and I dated a week. I found out you were a jerk and I dumped you. The story isn't nearly that exciting to tell.
I took you to Vegas.
And left me in the Ellis Island Hotel for 2 days without any money or clothes. What a dreamboat.
Hey, that place has a lot of history. It's Vegas off the strip nobility.
It was $17 a night and at least 2 people had pooped in the pool.
No one knows if it was 2 people or the same person twice. And besides, what has your little buddy here ever done for you, Toots?
Mark has...
I've been in love with her nearly my whole life. I spent 13 years watching her date people that were totally wrong for her. People like you, picking up the pieces after they broke up. I was there. I would have done anything for her. But not a day goes by that I don't think about her.
Turns to Natalie, who is watching Mark, eyes wide, mouth agape.
About you. And not a day goes by that I don't regret not doing something about it. I've never met anyone like you, and I never will. I love you, Natalie. I always have, and I'm sorry it took a situation like this to finally tell you.
Touching story, nerd. Just remember, while you were pining for her, I had her.
Shut up, Victor. You're a pig.
A pig that you were gonna marry, princess.
Yeah, let's examine that.
Look, I met Victor at Hank's one night. He seemed nice at the time. We were both complaining about our recent breakups. He said he had 2 plane tickets to Vegas and asked me to go. I thought, why not? And went. I took a risk and stopped always worrying about what might happen next and tried to live the adventure for a minute. Obviously, I shouldn't have in this situation. He asked me to marry him after we got there, and I told him I'd think about it. We had 4 minutes of sex, and I never saw him the rest of the trip until we left.
You slept with him?
The best 4 minutes of her life.
I've had peas that lasted longer and were far more fulfilling.
Beautiful.
I was busy.
So you didn't say yes?
Of course not.
She was going to.
Never.
Then why did you call him your ex-fiancé?
She did?
It was just...
I knew it!
It was just my first instinct. Figured if I said that, you would automatically hate him.
Why would I ever like him in general?
What's not to like?
Everything!
Don't act like we didn't keep dating after we got back.
I saw you twice after we got back, and both times were accidents. You came into a McDonald's I was having breakfast in once, and the second time you stumbled into Hank's drunk and you didn't even remember my name.
She's following me around, dude. Can't get enough. She knows who spreads their butter and puts it on bread or whatever.
That's not a saying.
You're not a saying.
It was all purely accidental, just like tonight, and proving yet again that I never should have come back to this ridiculous town.
I'm glad you did.
Mark, I didn't mean...
Just because you had a crush on her in grade school doesn't mean she'll sleep with you, pal. I had to take her to Vegas and ask her to marry me to get it. Besides, you're the friend, Hoss. You're the guy that never gets the girl you want, when people like me get them every single day.
Thanks, Victor. You're right. You're the kind of person that has made me hate myself for 25 years. You're a narcissist and a jerk, and you treat people like garbage, and yet you have the whole world handed to you. You're the guy that gets the girl for no imaginable reason.
Yes, I am.
Mark, why didn't you ever say anything?
I'm a coward.
No, you aren't.
I am. Or was. Anyway.
Mark.
Nah. Let him tell you a sob story. Maybe we'll all have a good cry and do our makeup together. It'll be a big old bonding experience. I totally can't wait. You all sell popcorn here or anything?
I didn't say anything because I was too afraid of you rejecting me and getting weird and never talking to me again. Never wanted to not be around you. I couldn't see my life without you, and frankly, didn't want to. But the summer after graduation, I went to U of A and you disappeared.
U of A is a made-up thing.
University of Akron, idiot.
You're a frickin' zip. No wonder you're as lame as an $8 bill.
Mark, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, who knew being an Akron zip could label me as an improbable currency?
Not that. It's embarrassing because I never realized that's what you thought of me.
What?
I'm letting that one pass. Mark, don't you understand the reason I dated so many terrible people in high school? It was to make you jealous. I wanted you to step up and say, screw those bozos, I'm the guy you need. Because you're who I always wanted. After we graduated, you told me about your journalism scholarship. I was heartbroken. I was so happy for you, but at the same time, I knew I couldn't go with you. Couldn't do anything. Just had to say good luck and leave. I didn't want to, but I thought you couldn't fall in love with me, and I was hopeless. So I skipped town. Been back a few times, always hoping, wishing we would find each other again, but...
And you two were calling me stupid? It's no wonder good people never get together.
Well, why is that?
Because they're too stupid to see what's right in front of them all along. And instead of being honest with themselves and the people they're with at the time, they would rather live miserable lives and think that it's the best that they can get. Good people worry too much. They carry around too much freaking guilt. They're afraid they're gonna hurt themselves or somebody else, so they sacrifice their own happiness. They'd rather let the person they were actually meant to be with walk away. Then everybody suffers. Nobody is happy. Your life is meaningless. It's freaking stupid.
Wow, that's a pretty keen observation, Victor. Where'd that come from?
Kiss it, Zip. It's why I get anybody I want, even if it's only once. I know how people think, and I take advantage of it.
I'm sure that helps in the booming drug trade.
Oh, yeah, it does. I've got the shine. Find the broken hearts left by morons like you, flash some cash, talk some mad trash. Next thing you know, they're eyeballing deep, or your eyeballs are Your eyeballs deep.
Well, it was nice to have a halfway decent conversation for a few minutes.
You gonna cry now? You want me to turn on Taylor Swift so you can give each other paper rings and tell each other about what cruel summers you had and cut yourself and feel?
How do you know Taylor Swift?
I watch football. What?
It's too bad Dawn wasn't here to catch that. She probably would have been impressed with a music reference like that.
Screw that tubby broad. She's probably down in the corner shoving Taco Bell into her mouth with a shovel.
I thought we agreed she wasn't fat.
Yeah, and that it was just an anti-sass tactic.
What, Eb? She's not John Ritter super fat or anything, but...
John Ritter super fat?
What? He died fat. He was a porker. Get over it.
No, he wasn't. And that might be the meanest thing you've said since you've been here.
You're kidding, right? Now you're gonna jump to dead fat John Ritter's defense? What are you, a Closet Three's Companies fan? Shut up, this is America. I can say anyone is fat that I want. Even dead funny guys.
Now, Real Men is a pretty great movie.
His early career at the end of that. You're not helping, shut up.
Victor looks outside and sees Dawn walking back across the parking lot.
Oh, great. Here comes Grimace. I hope she doesn't smell like McNuggets.
It's almost too bad the doors are locked. I bet she's coming back to punch your face.
Sure she is. If punch your face off means begging for forgiveness for eating all the late night menus.
Suddenly, the power returns again. Dawn immediately rushes in. She's drenched head to toe, water flowing off of her onto the floor. She begins shoving Victor violently.
I'm not fat, you egomaniacal, drug-dealing, big lots aftershave-smelling thug.
Guys, please?
No, I've had about enough of this. When a girl walks away from you mad, you follow her. That's what people who care about each other do. You don't let me run off into the night like an animal, you monster.
You're a monster.
You can't keep treating people like this. Nothing is ever going to change. There are simple human emotions that you lack, and you need to friggin' fix it.
We are so breaking up after this.
Shut up, you two-bit pusher. No one in their right mind should ever speak to you, let alone date you. You are the worst. I'm going to put up posters with your face on them, warning everyone to stay away from you. I've never been so humiliated in my entire life. You even made me think I have a weight problem. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you!
With the last I hate you, Dawn gives Victor a mighty shove. Victor loses his balance, his feet slipping on the wet floor beneath him. His legs go out from under him. He flails for a moment and then falls backwards, hitting his head squarely on the video store counter. He crumples to the floor on his back.
Oops.
Ouch.
Crap. I hope you didn't kill him.
Why is the floor so wet?
Mark goes over to Victor, who is slowly, groggily regaining consciousness.
I think he's okay. He's just, stunned.
Could this night get any weirder?
He's coming around.
Where am I? Who are you people? Why can't I remember anything? What am I doing here?
Mark quickly comes up with a plan and gestures to the two women.
We need to talk, the three of us now.
Then Victor.
Just rest, buddy. you hit your head. Everything will be okay. Just relax.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna lay here for a while. This is nice. I like laying here.
Mark moves over to Dawn and Natalie and walks them over to the front door.
How much do you want?
Pardon me?
How much money do you want? We can get out of this scot-free right now if we act on this quickly.
The briefcase.
It's ours now. I have a plan. How much do you want?
Out of $100,000, give me 25 grand. Keep the rest. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, there's two of you and only one of me. You need more since you're a team.
A team?
We are. We can start that new life. You know, the one with the actual happiness and honesty and all that.
You're not joking, are you?
No. Not this time.
Natalie kisses Mark. This is the kiss Mark had been waiting for his whole life. Dawn claps for them. When they break, they head straight up to the money. Mark quickly counts out enough stacks to give Dawn her cut. He puts it into a Games R Us bag and hands it to her.
A new life for me, too.
For everyone.
Including Victor.
Mark walks over to Victor, who is still mumbling incoherently. He puts his ski mask over Victor's head and puts the bead gun in Victor's hand.
I like to play cops and robbers. Cops and robbers is mad fun.
Sure is, sloppy seconds.
Mark stands up, closes the briefcase with the rest of the money, and starts towards the door. He begins knocking games off the shelves, making it look like a robbery. As he finishes, he walks up to Natalie and Dawn.
I think that'll do. Hope I didn't screw up your inventory.
No, this place always had a pretty terrible selection anyway.
Should we really leave him like that?
I think it's for the best. He is a drug dealer. Where he's going to go, I don't think he'll be running and ruining anyone's lives for a while. Besides, it was his idea for people to finally do the right thing with their lives. Can't think of a more right thing.
He did have a few bits of wisdom in there.
Every dog has his day.
With that, the power goes off again, locking the doors.
Great! Now what do we do?
I hate lightning storms.
I'll protect you.
Thanks. You guys better stand back.
Mark walks over and picks up the register off the counter. With a mighty heave, he throws the register through the front glass. It breaks the window out, and the rain begins to blow in.
That was awesome!
Dawn runs out into the storm.
Nice thinking. That should set the alarm off when the power comes back on.
I learned it from you. It was no big deal. Little fresh air never killed anyone. Mountains, molehills, you know.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I love you. You know that, right?
I love you right back. I know you're busy with being the world's worst burglar and all, but I'd like to kiss you again before we run out into this Shakespearean tempest.
Oh no.
Natalie and Mark kiss one last time, take each other's hands, and walk into the stormy night. Victor is left alone with the wind and rain blowing in on him. He twirls the gun around his index finger and begins to sing a very melancholy version of Singing in the Rain.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again.
Blackout. End of play.
Well, our writers are already up here, so
Let's jump right into it.
here we go.
Pick on anyone you like to pick on. Blair's got questions.
I love the fact that you put Pokemon cards in. And also, I love how dramatic Chris was.
Why, thank you. For being so dramatic.
It's my job.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you for that.
Thank you, B-Dog.
I assume it was intentional that Victor had a monster.
Yeah. Sure. That's the first of many Frankenstein movies. Good catch. Thank you for that.
That was good.
Rick, yeah. Yeah,
No,
okay.
no.
Oh, there's your
I'm just
point.
getting something.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Also, so both of these plays had a similar theme, right? Stephen's and mine. The idea of sort of unrequited love that may or may not happen.
Mine happens over dinner. His happens at a game store.
Yeah. A game store robbery.
Things we're both familiar with.
Right what you know.
Right. Well, you know.
Right what you know.
It was you.
What do we think worked? What do we think didn't work? What do we like? What do we didn't like? Olivia.
Victor's little wit monologue moment was just really great. It was, I really enjoyed that. And not because it's, hi Dad, not because it's
Hi,
my
daughter.
dad, but it
Have her-
really was.
Having read this the first time about 5 hours ago, I very much like that the villain is the one that contains all the wisdom nuggets that tells the two young lovers that they need to fall in love.
I think it could. I didn't get to finish it until just now. But I didn't have time. I worked until almost froze. But like
And the writer didn't give it to him until right before.
Right. I didn't think. I think this would be hilarious to extend just a little bit where they get locked when they get locked in again. I mean, like everything's leading to this is the conclusion is coming, and they get locked in again, and maybe just a little bit more conflict happens. I don't think that would be overkill. I really don't. I think that's hilarious. Another turn, or like the glass is too thick and they just can't. They're trapped again.
I mean,
the register bounces off and kills Natalie.
Right. Yes. It could get crazier.
And then Dawn and Mark fall in love. We're all writers here.
Yeah, I had a similar thought. I don't have any specific ideas, but I did find myself wondering. I thought it's a great situation, wonderful characters, starts strong, ends really strong, but I'm wondering if you could find more problems to throw at them in the middle section, because although the dialogue is very, very funny and you learn a lot about the characters, it is quite a bit of time where you've just given them a reason to be in a room talking to each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you found ways to make it more active, if it would, breathe even more life into it, because you want that momentum that starts so strong to just keep going.
Yeah, like on that, I mean, I loved it. It was really funny, but one thought in that I had is it's like so much of their relationship having taken place in the past.
Right.
I feel like if you were to extend it in the middle, it might be nice if some of that them coming together could happen more in the moment. Yeah.
But I was thinking about that early on, and it'll burn a couple characters, but if we can make Mark likable before the robbery starts. So he stops to help somebody open the door, and he sees somebody struggling with their packages, and he does something ridiculous. Somebody drops a $20 bill on the ground, and he picks it up and hands it to him on the,
On his way to Rob's.
Yeah, because I think we wait a little longer than I would personally like to be invested in his character. I think we get her struggle. She's working at a terrible job. I get it. But
There's nothing wrong with working at places like that.
Right. Two things. Number one, you did the what joke more than 3 times, but it was funny.
I was waiting for
every single time.
Second thing is the way I would have ended it is when he knocked himself out, they would have convinced him that he came in to buy the video store and he had his $100,000 in the briefcase and you took it off and you two were happy to sell it to him and he was as happy.
Get away scot-free.
Well, okay. She didn't like the video store. He didn't like the video. He bought the video store.
Yeah, you don't want Victor going to jail, do you? I don't either.
Yeah.
Bethany?
No.
I liked Natalie's realization moment when you have the odd metaphor, because I just really liked it, and the metaphor kind of didn't make any sense, and I think it just.
You guys didn't get to see the way it's written, which is a mess. It's a mess. No, it's Mike does a good job, and he generally does this. He writes beats in, and I think does that come from directing, or is that something you've always done as a writer?
Probably. I am very, as people who have worked with you before know that, especially in things that I've written, I am very particular about how the language of the joke and about how it should land and whether to race through a line or to take your time saying the line. And I think pauses are just as funny as no pause. And so you have to be just as keen with that stuff as the words that are on the page as well. And those pauses can mean something. Harold Pinter is a famous playwright who they always talk about the Pinter pause because a lot of his plays are built around people not talking. It's similar to that in as much as you need to earn those moments. You need to earn the time to put on the brakes of something that especially is dialogue driven and fast back and forth action. When you can slow it down, it means something. When you suddenly don't, when you put the brakes on, why have they put the brakes on? What does that mean? Why have they stopped talking the way that they were talking before? All of that has some kind of import, I think. Yeah. So yes, I write those because I've directed things and directed comedies and said people need to know where these are, because I want them to go ahead and have that idea in their head before they get there. And then when the actor takes it over and they don't do it and they're like, but I'm using my creative process, and I fire them. And
There are at least a half dozen, maybe more of a beat. He actually wrote it in stage direction. So if you want people to take a beat, authors, put in that they need to take a beat. Jennifer.
Okay, you know how you say always throw another problem at the couple? I would have loved it if when he said, yeah, you know, I threw the register through the window, and when the electricity comes back on, the alarm will go off. If Natalie would have said, I actually pushed the silent alarm earlier, and to where, you know, they were in that situation a little longer.
Yeah.
Sheila.
Maybe I missed it. I don't know. I mean, I really liked it a lot. But obviously, Mark is a little bit lame, and he's not a very good burglar. He's been that way all his life.
He's never done
Has
this sort of
she
thing.
seen that in him, or
Do I what?
has he always been that way? I mean,
Has Mark always been lame?
Has Mark always been bad at things?
Yeah.
Bad at talking to her. I think one of the reasons
Why
if he's a good burglar, we don't get the story right. So if he just robs the place and leaves. And so
how
I
do you
think
get to this point where
I think he has to be struggling just like he's struggled with telling her his feelings from the beginning. Like there's some latent struggle in Mark in general. Olivia, do you have something else you want to say?
I personally really enjoyed it. I think it was perfect all the way through. Did you know all of that about Taylor Swift already?
Yeah, I mean,
that's really that's very recent.
well, I mean, the football thing is obviously a very current reference.
Recent add-on. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this.
Lover's a great album. Lover's a great album.
This is a low, great.
There was a play before this one though. Let's talk about Stephen's play now. Stephen tends to write a lot about food because he's a wonderful cook as well, and he loves to eat food, so he writes things similar. Nick, go ahead.
Just wanted to say one thing before I say what I was gonna say, but this man knows any good places to eat, so bug him with all that. Anyway, I have actually read this before.
Yeah, we took it to the high school after New Works last year.
Yeah, and I read it with someone else, and it's one thing looking at it, but like being performed, but when you actually read it, it's a whole different thing. And it's some things are hard to read and hard to understand how it's supposed to be performed, but when I read it, I understood the message perfectly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's very intuitive.
Did you rewrite at all between last year and this year?
I don't think so. I left it alone. Cameron pointed out one phrase that I had repeated a couple times, and I went back to make sure I had done it on purpose, but I think that was about it.
Is this just a piece? Do you plan on, because you leave them wanting more at the end? Obviously.
Yeah, this one's one that I thought about. What would I do next? And I think that's a great question, because I've written a couple that were pretty open-ended. And I think the next step is she goes on the date with the psychologist.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the next thing, but And he gets out there.
And we never see him again.
And we never see him. No, the question is, if you're doing a Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movie, he meets somebody while he's out there, and then so you have to find a way to you split them apart. And I don't know that it needs to be 20 years later, but you have to bring them back together. I think what you do is the satisfaction. Like when I took it to the high school, they were like, "Are they going to kiss? Are they going to kiss?" That's the question I got at the end. Are they kissing? And I said they get ready to, and the phone rings again. He's like, "I'm late for work." And I think that delayed gratification, for me, the delayed gratification is, I don't know how to get there yet because I've done 10-minute stuff. But I think if you delay the gratification and you finally get there at the end. And the same thing with the thing that I wrote earlier about the Sam's Club, I think that's why nothing happens at the store. They get together later.
Right.
And a couple things that I've written it that way. There was another one that I wrote that we read in the first New Works, where a guy was at brunch and he starts chatting up a girl, and they switch numbers, and people are like, "What are you going to do with that?" And I was like, "She's going to lose his number and or give him the wrong number because she had broken up with somebody, and he thinks that she's ignoring him on purpose."
Right.
And they have to come back around somehow. Yeah.
I like the way that, like, in the stage direction, it said, like, at the ending, that she smiles like she did at the beginning. So it just brings it back around.
Yeah, and I was trying to full circle that too. Thanks for pointing that out. That's great. What
John, I'm trying.
Okay, I can't see.
So I noticed kind of a common theme with all the comedies tonight is that they all start out with some sort of tragedy. Is there any way for you to have a comedy where it doesn't start out that way?
That's a good question.
Comedy is born from tragedy. That's partly true. If you look at Shakespeare, typically, whenever there is especially in the tragedies themselves, there is always a very funny scene that is surrounded by the worst thing that happens in the play.
The worst thing,
The murder of a king.
Yeah, you have the gatekeeper in Macbeth who talks nonsense and funny stuff for pages and pages, and then they find out that everybody finds out that they've killed Duncan. And so, like, he sets you up for this, like, laugh, just to smack you off, you know. And I think that there's something to that. There's something to be able to play with that.
It's like tension
dichotomy.
release.
That's the human condition, right? We live through tragedy and we live through funny things. Like, it's not all one or another. I mean,
because even if you think of, like, silly Will Ferrell movies or anything like that, there is some kind of the tragedy is a ridiculous tragedy. It's not it's not a thing that is somebody has cancer and it's really sad.
But at Talladega Nights, the estranged father.
Right.
I mean, that's
or the cougar in the car.
Or the invisible fire. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So but there always has to be something that they have to sort of overcome with the humor.
One of the things that we've talked to the students a lot about, we just keep hammering it home, is you can't, if you want it to be a play, it can't just be joke fest. Like, that can't be what the purpose was. You can't, because your sense of humor is not somebody else's sense of humor. But what you can do is you can tell a story that has humor in it, and people attach to the characters. And they're like, Friends is stupid for the most part. I love Friends, but you fell in love with those characters and they ended up with a turkey on their head, or they ended up with all kinds of ridiculous things that happen. And it's about being real in those situations because you fall in love with the characters, and you get mad at the characters, and in short work too. And that's the thing that I thought was so masterful by all the students this evening, is they did it in 10 minutes. They had you invested in those characters within 2 pages. Like, it was like, oh, that's really great.
Yeah, and I think
such good stuff.
Sitcoms are a perfect example of that comedy tragedy thing too. It's just on the tragedy is on a lower level. It's something is happening at the office, or something is happening. Joey didn't get an audition, or there's always something that sort of is the catalyst for that episode, that isn't necessarily an end of the world kind of tragedy, but is a thing that isn't necessarily funny.
There are always stakes.
But it stakes. We talk about that in acting a lot. Like, what are the stakes of this scene? What are the stakes for these characters? And the higher the stakes, the more important it is for the characters and the audience. So
let's talk about what's coming up. Oh, let's do another one.
I don't know that everybody. I was here for practice on Wednesday. There's not a lot of directorial direction. The actors today, all around, excluding me, did a wonderful job of getting the timing. When she turns to him and says, "Ask me," I mean, you could just, oh yes, I can just see that happening. But that, I don't know if that was written in. She pauses and looks at him, and then, but she knew how to present that. So I think the actors really did a great job tonight. Every one of them.
Yeah, I agree. The Billy Wilder, they asked him once what was the key to being a good director, and it was, do you need to have the ability to write? And he said, no, you need to have the ability to read. And I think one of the things that everybody did so well tonight is they were able to understand what the authors were saying. The authors made it easier for them, but they gave them things that they could understand, that they could interpret and put on stage. And I think that was a common theme of things that we saw this evening. Even 3 hours ago when we started with Ned's piece, we had relatable characters all night long. Thank you guys for being here. We've got a full weekend still to come. Tomorrow night we have Marshall's film program. We have several things. We have local author Emma Grace Imes, who many of you know and have been on stage with Emma. She writes very absurdist things, and tomorrow is no exception. And it's great. We have a original story by John Armstrong, our own John Armstrong back here. We have a monologue by our good friend Lynn Trent, and it's great. It's one of the sadder pieces that we'll see over the next couple of days, but it's cathartic as well. It's great. We will see we'll see several short films that were written by the writing program in Ian Nolte's class tomorrow. And Ian has something as well. The flow, that's a little bit different. The people doing the stage direction paint the pictures a little bit more. And we're going to wrap up the night tomorrow with a quite hilarious, one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time by our good friend David Smith. It's a pilot for a television show. You do not want to miss that. Warning, disclosure, tomorrow's event has a lot of adult language and adult situations, so if that's against your sensibilities, don't come. Tell other people to come. And then
dirty friends to come.
Then on Sunday, we'll be here at 2:30 with our good friend Eric Fritzhus from Lewisburg. Mike worked with him when he was down at GVT. He has written a couple short plays that are very, very quite funny, and that's kind of his wheelhouse on stuff, is humor. And so he'll have that, and after that, we're having an event. It's going to be a limited prep event, and Eric's stuff, anybody can come see Eric's stuff. It's great. We're going to have a limited prep event where anybody that's in the audience and the actors that are here, we're going to write a play. And we're going to break up into groups. We're going to give you an hour to write a play, and then you have an hour to write a 10-minute play.
Then we'll read them all.
Then we'll read them out. And don't feel like I've never done that before. Come and be a part of a team. We'll get you in, and we'll get you some ideas, because you're going to find that there are people that are really quick at writing dialogue and can type really quick, and there's people that are great at other ideas. But we can't thank you enough for being here and being a part of what we're doing.
And thank you so much for the feedback. It's critical.
Yeah. Oh, this is the most important part.
Appreciate it.
Look for this stuff on YouTube. Thanks to Todd Gilpin. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say thanks to our season sponsors that we already have, Regeneration Church, Nelson Mullins, and State Electric. And if you have a business, we're still looking for season sponsors. So talk to Nora. She'd love to talk to you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.